Mr. Morris?
Here.
Mr. Walsh?
Here.
Mr. McDermott?
Here.
Mr. Welby?
Here.
Mr. Gattens?
Here. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Before we begin, if anyone's here for the first case of the Lace Building Affiliates, it's been tabled to a later date. In accordance with the Pennsylvania Sunshine Law, this board shall render a decision on each case either at the end of each hearing or within 45 days of the hearing. If you are to give testimony in a case, please come to the podium, raise your right hand, and wait to be sworn in. After being sworn in, state your name and address, then proceed with your testimony. Also, anyone giving testimony who does not become a party to the case may obtain a written decision from the zoning office. I also have two announcements of law. If you are granted a variance or a special exception, you must wait 30 days from the date of our decision to obtain the necessary permits to start work. However, you may obtain a permit sooner by signing a waiver that any work done during that 30-day period is at your own risk. A favorable decision by the board shall expire 12 months from the date of said authorizations in accordance with Article 10.3C of the zoning ordinance. If you fail to obtain the necessary permits or do not comply with any or all conditions of said authorization, you must seek an extension. Any remarks from the board? Mr. King, can you attest that the postings were done accordingly?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. We're ready for the first case.
First case, BSD Realty NJ LLC seeks special exception to legally use 800 square foot above-ground basement apartment at 611, 613 Harrison Avenue, R10 zone. This is a remand from the court.
Anyone here for BHNV PA LLC? Anyone here for that?
Okay, why don't we just take it and we'll put it at the end
Put it at the
in case they do show up late. Second case or third case? This case?
Second case, Alto Strata Development LLC seeks variance to construct self-storage garage units with relief from the setback requirements at 1402 North Rebecca Avenue, R8 zone.
I do. The first name is Jesse, Jesse, last name Hallinan. And I'm an attorney on behalf of Alto Strata Development LLC, bar number 311595. Thank you. I have a couple exhibits I would just like to give to the board before we get kicked off. Can I approach? Thank you.
Good.
So I'm counsel for Alto Strata. I'm going to give a brief summary first. Really what we're arguing here is just for the standard variance that we requested in the application. The gist of my argument today is going to be, and I'll shoot from the hip for 2 minutes and then I'll go back to the script. You guys will like the script better. The gist of the argument on this one is the unique nature and setup of this zoning and the property itself makes it amenable to what we're asking here. The harms that would be normally inflicted in a zoning area such as this aren't present here, again, because of the unique nature, and I'll get into that further. Also, summarily, what we're asking for has no effect on the surrounding neighborhood or area whatsoever. It caused no environmental impact. It'll cause no increased traffic. It'll actually improve the property because the majority of the surrounding properties are, for lack of a better term, vacant at this point or undesired. So the property that we're dealing with right now is the 1402 North Rebecca Avenue in Scranton, PA. So again, the unique physical conditions that affect this parcel, especially the triangular configuration, and you'll see that on the documents that I've provided you, and the substantial sewer easement, and that's the big issue of it. There's a substantial sewer easement in there by the city, which precludes the majority of development, including residential development. And that's one of the issues, too, to speak off the cuff on that. This is designated as an R8. If you look to the zoning maps themselves, it appears that it's zoned as recreational, but my argument today is based upon the R8 zoning status, which I confirmed with the office today. Had it been recreational, there would be a lower threshold for the requested variance, but because it's an R8, I have to include the argument as to the residential argument. So I'm not trying to belabor the point. It's just because although it appears recreationally designated, it's actually designated R8. So really what we're looking for here is, following the clarification I received from the zoning office today, the property is located within the R8 zoning district. The application that I filed seeks variance relief associated both with the proposed storage and flex space, garage use, as well as the related setback relief. Our requested relief arises from, again, the unique physical characteristics affecting this parcel, including its unusual triangular configuration. And that's really what I want to point to. If you look at the charts and the graphs that we set out there, specifically the one that I had commissioned and that was done on behalf of my client, you'll note that although it's designated for residential, there's no true residence around that, save one, which is off quite a way. You'll also note that the setback requirements in that triangular formation make it nearly impossible for any type of residential development, true residential development, to be processed in that area. The abutting properties, as well as the surrounding properties through the throughway there, are vacant lots, a recreational lot that is, gone into disrepair, as well as undeveloped property. Okay, the triangular configuration that I just went and mentioned again, and that substantial sewer easement, and I can't stress enough that substantial sewer easement. The sewer easement alone would preclude any true-to-form residential structure being built within that area because of the Scranton Sewer Authority's sewer easement in that area. It's a very large sewer easement, which makes it preclusive for the current R8 zoning that's put in there. Both of these materially constrain reasonable development opportunities for the site. In my application, I respectfully submitted that our proposed use represents a low intensity and appropriate use of this uniquely constrained parcel, and it's truly unique based upon its geographical structure, its makeup that cannot be changed, as well as that sewer easement. Our relief represents the minimum variance necessary under the circumstances. What we're really looking for, and I was confirmed this today with the office, what we're really looking for is a use variance. And with that use variance comes part and parcel with that, the setback variance, which is minimal, simply because the 30-foot setback would be preclusive not only to residential building like I just spoke of, but it would also be preclusive to really any type of building whatsoever. The sewer easement itself, that proposed layout was specifically, the one that I have that was commissioned by me and that I just presented to the board, was specifically designed around the existing easement, and it leaves the easement undisturbed. So we don't even have to get into that quagmire of trying to attack this easement or try to find lesser alternatives, anything like that. It totally forgoes any issue with the easement. We leave it untouched, and the sewer authority doesn't even have to be bothered with that. The strict residential development limitations that I spoke of earlier, our position is that not that the residential development is theoretically impossible. You could essentially build anything on the property. Somebody could put up, run a sewer to it, get electricity going, but it would be almost impossible due to the unique physical conditions affecting this parcel, and that creates the substantial practical limitations that exist under the R8 requirement. And again, I'm arguing under the R8 and not the REC, because it was confirmed today that this is, regardless as to what it may appear on the shading, it was confirmed today that this is in fact R8. That's the biggest issue with it. It's a near impossibility to truly get residential property on that site. And one of the reasons, I think, the best evidence of that would be showing the fact that there's nothing built there yet, no residential built there yet. Relative to the existing vacancy that exists there, the parcel that I'm speaking of today that I provided you with, it's remained vacant, and it also presents a substantial development challenges because of the existing physical constraints, specifically triangular nature, as well as the sewer easement that I just indicated. Our proposed build would not increase traffic, it would not increase any issues, there would be no issues as to parking, and we'll be able to build, again, around the easement. And if this board is to approve the setback requirement as well as the use requirement, we would be able to build without affecting any nearby structures, which are far and far apart, and we would be able to create a substantial structure to this property that would make it usable and hopefully prop up the rest of the properties around it. Exactly what we're looking for here is, it's a very low intensity use. What we're asking for is, and what I've put in my commissioned report was a proposed storage flex space garage, and it's going to be low intensity in nature. There's not going to be shops in there. Okay, this is going to be low use. This is going to be for car collectors. Similar to the structures that were built up behind, if you remember the old McMullins, I don't even know what it is now. There's an area behind there that a lot of car collectors would put their cars back there. It would also be storage for contractors, no hazardous waste whatsoever, not even sheetrock or anything like that going into it. It would be more or less supplies. Again, no sheetrock, nothing that would cause any EPA concerns, nothing that would require any state EPA environmental requirements that would be precluded from the outset. We would have it fenced in. We would also be building these structures that would look good to the eye. We plan on doing stone around them. They wouldn't look like it's just, don't think of a storage per se. These are places where people would want to put high-valued items. And when I say construction, don't get nervous about that. What I mean by construction is it would be equipment that's not so large that wouldn't fit in it, but it would be equipment that a contractor wouldn't want to leave out at a job site, or wouldn't want to leave out something like that. It wouldn't be hauling anything. These would be trucks. These would be things like that, stuff that would not have to be going in and out. They would be stored essentially to avoid vandalism, to avoid things being stolen from them, which is a big issue. The biggest thing that we would have primarily are collectors, quite honestly. We would have car collections going in there. We would have valuable items going in there. We would have a clientele that essentially would like to come and go for more or less for viewing, not for picking up and dropping off, things like that. This would not be a heavy volume area. The compatibility with what I've asked for is that, and it's in my proposed layout, indicates and it preserves the substantial spacing and buffering throughout the property, and it most importantly, it respects the existing sewer easement. I'm sure this board is well, and I'm sure, and Dan's as well aware as I am, that when you try to attack those easements, it just is not the route that you want to go. We've made sure, and I've had this report commissioned to indicate, first and foremost, that the easement is not touched. We do not have to worry about it. The only thing we have to do is put the Scranton Sewer Authority on notice, should the variance be granted, and just let them know that their easement is not being impacted in any way whatsoever. And we've made sure, as you can see from what I had commissioned, is that we're not even touching the easement. So there's nothing that could even abut the easement, cross over it, be structured on it. We don't even need construction to come in there and cross that easement. We've taken care of all that. Okay. So really what we're here, the hardship, and that's to the crux of the argument, the hardship here and why we're asking for the variance, it comes from, again, the physical conditions affecting the property, and it's not from our own conduct, it's what we're looking for essentially, which is the use requirement, again, in this area that's unique, not touching the easement. And because of, it looks like a rec designation while it's actually an R8. And you could see that why it looks like a rec designation, because there is really nothing around it. It looks like a true rec, but it's actually an R8. So that's what we'd be asking for today. And I can answer any questions the board may have at this time.
I have a couple questions. This is going to be fenced in entirely around?
I'm sorry?
Did I hear correctly? This will be fenced in?
Yeah, we'll be building a fence. We'll also have security installed, cameras, things like that, but nothing obtrusive. It's not going to look like Fort Knox. It's going to be standard cameras to view to make sure that people are coming in and out. Again, because these are high-priced items that are going to be kept in there. We don't want to announce that too much, but this is a televised board meeting. So that'll always be 24-hour surveillance with security on notice. No security walking the grounds, so it won't be, we won't have hired security guards walking around, so there's no need for that.
Will there be any outside storage?
No, there will be nothing allowed outside the storage. Everything has to be contained inside. And that's the other thing that I really wanted to get to, too. I don't think I stressed hard enough how our proposed building plans for these structures make them very appeasing to the eye. These are not going to look like if you're up in the Dunmore Industrial Park up there where they have the valley of all those storage sheds. That's not what it's going to look like at all. If you were to pull up to this would look like a business. And that's what our clients would like. However, there's no one allowed to be working there. There's no desk set up. There's not going to be anything there other than plumbing and electric. Just that's required by law. There'll be no employees in these whatsoever. No one can work a business out of there. There's not even going to be a mechanic even allowed to step foot in there unless it's someone working on their own car or bringing friends to come in to work on their own car. There'll be no site work done there.
So just a couple more that I have, and I'm sure the rest of the board's going to have questions. Accessibility for your people that are going to rent these garages, is it limited, or is it 24 hours a day?
No, it won't be 24 hours a day. We're going to have limited. The clientele that we're looking at would not have the need to be going there at 2 o'clock in the morning, but we want to preclude that to begin with. So what we're letting them know is that if they need to get to their property or whatever is inside of there for a reason, they'll be contacting a point person. That point person will assess the reason that they give and then would take them out to be able to get them into the property if needed. Or they would be given permission to access the property, but they would have to let us know for the duration so we could let our security know that individuals are going on.
You said there's no employees, so I know it sounds good to say they're all high-end people that are going to use your facilities there, but in a perfect world, that doesn't work.
That's correct, yeah.
So what happens when there's trash left outside that building or outside one of the garage doors and stuff?
Well, that's the nice part about that. Because we have prospective clientele, the issues that they want seen are the same issues that the board is now addressing, which is they don't want someone saying, so to give you an example, a prospective renter that we had has indicated, well, if I keep mine upkeep, what's to say that somebody else next to us doesn't use it, just like what you said, trash, rubbish, things like that. That is going to be preclusive in their contracts. So if they do have it there, we will be the ones cleaning it up with only one notice. They're going to get one notice. They'll have 24 hours to clean it up. They'll also be assessed a fine. If they don't do that, we will clean it up at that point. That will be a violation of the lease that I've produced, and that'll be evictable. More than likely, it'll be a one-strike, heavy fine. If it happens again, you have to go, because that's not the clientele that we want coming into that area. Again, there'll be nothing outside because we're building up the around area outside of the structure with stonework. We've contacted local masons, things like that, to do the work. We're not doing it per person. We're doing it for a uniform look, but not that it looks again like the storage sheds up in the Dunmore parks. There will be no trash bins outside. There'll be no trash, anything, no rubbish allowed outside. You can't, if you're working on your car or even looking at it, you can't have any bay doors open. And I use bay door loosely. We're not putting bay doors there. Those are just for lack of a better term.
So that item right there presents a problem. I mean, we've had cases before where if you allow them to work on their car, I mean, and you're saying they can if they have a storage area there, it becomes 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night where air tools are running and everything like that. So to me, that's the only red flag I heard so far, I'll be honest with you. I mean, it sounds like a good project and everything like that, but I mean, the rest of the board, I'm sure, has questions, but one of the contingencies I am going to put on this before we take a vote is limited hours of accessibility. Because it's easy to say, they can go in there if they need to get something, but I don't want to see the neighbors, if anyone's here for this, that do live in that area at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, hearing trucks pull in and trying to load whatever they have that they think they have to get out of that storage area. So we'll put that on, but I'm open with the rest of the board. I'm sorry.
I just have a couple quick questions.
Sure.
Are you going to have bathrooms in these units?
If the individual asks for a bathroom or requires it, we would run sewer into there, but we don't anticipate running it with just the required sewer lines by law to be able to have there for, in compliance with all the codes. But no, we don't intend on building to spec bathrooms in each one of them. It would be based upon a demand, and they would have to, through the lease that I've prepared, the demand would have to make sense. It can't be I want a bathroom and I just want one.
And how many units?
Right now, we anticipate, well, it depends on if it's going to be granted on that. Right now, we're suspecting anywhere between, I don't have those numbers, they're not going to be overwhelming, though. It's not going to be a sea of of units or things like that. That's something we're waiting to see first if the variance gets approved. But it's only 0.6 square mile, or 0.6.
We would need to know how many units you're putting in there.
Yeah, and we have that in our perspective. I could get those for you, not a problem. We would just have to reach out to the other arm.
Well, I mean, we would want to hear that tonight before
Yeah.
we would vote, you know?
So what I can do,
You're showing a drawing with 6.
yeah, and that's what's on that.
There's more than 6.
There's 10.
Yeah, that would be no more than. What we have there would be no more than that. For a definite, though, I wouldn't be able to give a definite, but that would be the most that we put there, simply because, and the answer to that question would be because of the unique setup of it, we wouldn't be able to build what these clientele would want if it was too small, and we don't want to overbuild on that, so that would be the most that we would be able to put there. But there may be fewer. That would be my answer to that.
Dan, the term he's using tonight is flex space, and from what I understand is flex spaces, there could be 12 businesses running businesses out of these flex spaces. They're not storage spaces when you call them flex. When they're
Correct.
flex spaces, you're going to be running businesses out of each one of these units, correct?
No, we're not going to be having any business. There's no clientele going to be going in
So why
there.
call it flex then and not just storage?
Okay, so if the storage term of art is different than the flex. So if I were to say storage, then storage gets limited to a certain number of things. You could then say, when I use the term flex, because it's not straightforward storage, it could be for different reasons. We could have a commercial client going in there to store commercial goods, but there'll be no, there's not going to anybody, there's not front door reception, there's nobody there taking calls, that's totally precluded. What it would be, say if Perry Construction were to say, well, I need space to house these things I don't regularly use and I only use them on certain jobs, that would be somewhere they would go. They wouldn't be coming and going and picking them up every day. Johnny Perry would come down, get the vehicle when he needed it for a job up in Hawley. When the job in Hawley was done, he would come down and store it there because he doesn't want to keep it there. When I say flex space, and what I want to make adamantly clear is that this is not a space where someone's going to come up to us and say, you know, I want to run a garage out of here. I'm only going to work on one car. I'm going to put a secretary up front. I'm going to bring my own desk. Not happening. That's a violation of the lease, and they're not even going to get through the front door with me to be able to do that.
Right, but most flex spaces are run by construction companies that are coming in and out of there pretty daily, getting supplies and equipment.
That's the true to form flex. That is not the case here. The only reason I use the term flex, and now I wish I didn't, is because the main, if I would just say storage, it would have to be true blue storage, and it's really not. It's not a storage space where you have a college kid renting somewhere and he needs to put his stuff aside because mom and dad are moving out. That's not what we have here. The term of art flex is just because we're going to have different individuals storing different things there, and I cannot make it any clearer there will be no businesses there whatsoever. There's not going to be phone lines running into it and anything like that.
Mr. Walsh, I think our zoning ordinance has a definition for a self-storage facility, and this sounds like what this would be. A building or buildings containing separate spaces to be leased or rented to individuals and/or businesses for the storage of personal belongings, goods, or supplies.
And if he adds flex to that, does that change?
Well, I think it's what you grant, what permission you grant and
I
what
just don't
kind
want
of
to see,
conditions you put on this.
you're in a residential area, you're going to slam 12 businesses into this small lot. It's going to be chaos.
Yeah, and that won't happen. We don't even have the capacity to be able to warrant that with, if I were to get, I wouldn't be able to commission to get a report that would be able to say we could house 12 businesses there. It just won't happen. The term flex, and we'll take any restriction on that term flex that aligns with what I'm asking for today, respectfully, because I can understand the concern with flex. You give us flex, and then before you know it, you have 12 dentists working out of there. Not happening. That's not. The flex is only used because this is not going to be true blue people storing things there. Like I said, the college kid example, for lack of a better example, it's going to be more the car collectors. It's going to be more the high-end construction work. No one doing work in there. It's not even going to be, like I said, no sheetrock, nothing like that. We're not even going to have, if you're a mason, we're not having bricks or anything stored in there. The flex is just because of the different nature and to not lock us into a true blue self-storage that everybody thinks of, where like up in the Dunmore Park, that's not what it's going to be.
That's one more. No, go one more quick one here. That's all fine while you own it. The problem is we grant this variance and everything and change ownership, then that logic could change real quick and open them doors to anyone basically do anything in there. So again, I have some contingencies when we come to a vote that I want to put on this, and we'll roll them out at the board.
I think flex has to be removed.
Yeah, I think flex has to be removed too. Go ahead, Jim, I'm sorry.
And that's not a problem. And any restrictions that the board would like, I mean, as long as it, really, you guys have gotten the gist of what I'm trying to ask for, and we have no problem with that whatsoever. I understand the concern, too, of turnover, and, you know, I know it's just words, but my client fully intends on, this isn't a turnover project. This is something that he'll be investing a significant amount of money into that he wants for a long term.
No offense, we hear that a lot. You know what
What's
I mean? I said, we hear that a lot, as you can imagine. And then
Oh,
2,
yeah,
3
I'm a
years down
lawyer,
the
I
road,
say it a lot. Yeah,
somebody offers
absolutely, yeah.
a better dollar for it, and it sells
Yeah.
real quick, so.
Which is why any restriction the board is willing to do, we would accept it within those parameters. It's not a problem.
Yeah, I have no problem understanding the lay of the land.
Sure.
That's what you have. But my question is, why a residential neighborhood to put this in? There's, at least on Rebecca Avenue, there's about 8 or 9 homes. About 800 feet away from your proposed property, there's a new home being built. I don't know if that new home owner would want to know there's going to be up to 12 businesses 800 feet away from them, plus crossing court where you're going to have access. I see vehicles and access. 2 vehicles are parked at angles, showing how narrow it's going to be. On Lincoln Avenue, you have their backyards, you have back porches, you have pools, and now you're bringing in businesses into a residential neighborhood. That's what I can't understand. That's the issue I'm having.
Well, to respond to that, the true blue nature of business is not what we're trying to set up there. Again, these aren't structures that you're going to walk in, find someone at the front desk, be able to use the bathroom, get a drink of water, sit down in a waiting room. That's not it at all. They may have business aspects to them. Like I said, we may have, for lack of a better term, like a Perry Construction, using it for what I just said. More likely, though, these will be mixed between private and business-esque type things. These are not businesses. And to give you an example, too, I'm familiar with the area. I'm originally from Dunmore. I live on North Washington now. But with that buildup, I think this is something that the residents, while initially hesitant of because it's business, it's being zoned business, these are storage spaces. And again, with the requirements that I've put in our lease, especially the duration requirements, the security requirements, which is all going to be monitored. There's not going to be people walking around like it's the Berlin Wall. It's really going to be a benefit to the neighborhood itself because it precludes any type of true blue business being built there, which would increase a ton of traffic, which would then create environmental concerns, which we're not going to have here, which would then require an environmental study, which we don't need here. If we truly were looking to build businesses in these areas, we would have come with an environmental impact study, we would have come with a roadway study, but that's not what we're doing here, and that's a requirement that's a constraint that we would be more than happy to consent to. You know, if you have any fears as to the business, I can surely alleviate you of those. These are not any structures where you're going to be able to walk in, open the door, and walk in and sit down.
I just want to make sure I heard what you said, a benefit to the neighborhood. Somebody sitting on their front porch with the garage door opening, cars starting, maybe diesel trucks. I don't see how that's a benefit to the neighborhood.
Yeah, if I could respond to that, that's not what we're having here, and I see why the confusion may be with that, and I also appreciate the concern. I wouldn't want that anywhere near my neighborhood too. But again, these aren't work unit areas. In the lease, it's going to be indicated that there cannot be significant work. This isn't a place where someone's going to take a car to be able to work on it as a job. This is going to be a place where if you are storing cars in there, it's for your, cars that you have that are mostly like show cars. You would go in, you would look at them, you'd show friends, similar to the ones that was behind the old McMullins there. You would go in, you would look at them. It would also be placed, again, for, as far as business is concerned, it would be more of a high-end storage space for equipment that isn't used on a regular basis because you know as well as I do the high-end equipment goes in, you have a job, you take it out of a job a month later. There's not going to be anybody there, sparks flying, things dinging off a wheel, people hearing noise complaints and things like that, which would be a fear if these were true blue business requests, which they are not, which is why I understand the issue here. These are more, to think of it, a high-end storage space for high-end items. And again, we're not having any type of reception, we're not having any type of waiting room. There's nothing like that, and that'll all be precluded in the leases. So no, that would not be an issue anyone would have to worry about.
Dan, I'm sorry, Mr. King, would this go in front of the Planning Commission?
Yes.
Because
If it's approved, this would be a commercial building, it would be a land development, would have to be.
so it'd be water detention, because it looks like it's going to be completely covered in buildings.
Well, that would cover the site planning issues, sewage, access, all that kind of stuff, stormwater runoff.
I have some questions. On your application itself, it states the 1402 North Rebecca, and it's listed as zoning district R3 recreation. Now, that's a question I have. I'm doing my research, which we all have been to the property.
It's actually an R8. That was an error on the application. It's actually an R8.
Yeah. And that error was, it was due to the shading that was misconstrued, and when I called the office today, it was corrected, and that's what my argument today is made based upon the R8 and not the rec. Because as you know, if it was a rec, it would be a lower threshold, and that's why my argument today is for the R8 and not the rec. Because the rec is the true blue.
On the
Or
regrid,
I'm sorry, the R8 is the true.
on the printout from the regrid that you gave us, it says zoning type residential, zoning subtype single family. Now, if I may, from google.com today, based on the 2023 proposed zoning map for the city of Scranton, the property at 1402 North Rebecca Avenue, Scranton, PA 18508, is located in the R10 Town City single-family residential. And commercial properties are not allowed in a town city. Now, what we're really at here as far as zoning goes, this is from today, I looked that up, it's right here, you can all see it and read it. What do we got?
I'm looking at the map now, it's R8 on that side of the street. The other side of the court, crossing court, is R10, but this site is in the R8 zone.
Okay. Now, I'm getting a lot of different conflict. Okay, so let's go on and continue from there. One of your statings would, some of the storage facilities used would be, say, contractors, okay? I've done remodeling contracting all my life. And if I'm storing tools at a site, whether it be my garage or a separate site, whether I'm storing small tools, a trailer, I have access to those tools at any time. Generally, a lot of contractors start their day at 6 to 7 a.m. You go to wherever your site is, you gather your tools for the day, and get set. So are we going to have contractors there at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, trucks pulling up, people assembling, your work detail, getting all set at this site to prepare yourself to go out and do your job, which is what I did in my business all my life.
Yep.
We met, get on my site, gather the tools, put them in the trucks, everybody gets ready, has a cup of coffee, and goes on about our day. So here, you're going to have that if that is one of the proposed, someone wants to rent it. Across the street, directly, is a ball field. In a ball field, kids play. Kids are pulling up. Whether it's not just on the ball field itself, kids play in the street. Kids park their cars. They're riding bikes up and down. For trucks and vehicles to come however many hours of the day across the street from a ball field is just not something that I can see being a proper thing for a neighborhood.
Yeah. And I agree with you. I agree with you 100%, and that's not the nature of what these are. Again, and I understand why you would think that, and that's really why I'm trying to dispel the notion that these are storage units like that. The ballpark across the street it's not heavily used, but even if it were, the concerns that you just have, I could alleviate those. This is not a place, and it will be in the lease, this isn't a place where individuals come in the morning, they pick up their tools from the other day, they have a cup of coffee out front. That's not how it's happening. And that's certainly not how it's going to happen based upon how we're designing these structures. These aren't places that are be designated for people to leave tools and come to and forth every day. These are I don't want to say long-term, but what it is would be essentially, like I said, if it were a contractor, it would be a piece of equipment that is not often used, that is you don't want vandalized, you don't want stolen. It would be something that people would want and you can't leave out, which would mean that, yeah, you might have somebody coming at 7 o'clock in the morning. A construction worker might come down and get it at 7, take it up to Hawley, use for 3 days, and then bring it back down after that. But there certainly won't be comings and goings, and there by no means, and I can make that very clear, there is not going to be any congregation of employees or workers at these areas to use as an off-site or secondary site location, or to be used as a primary location. Absolutely not. That's not what these are going to be for. I can assure you of that, and that's in the lease that I've drawn up as well. Is that you can't have, you're going to have your driver go down, pick it up, or you're going to have the owner go down and pick it up. You're not going to have your team of guys down there going through their tools, setting up for the day, have coffee, playing a radio, something like that. And one of the reasons why I can assure you that's not going to happen is because we don't want that. 2, I wouldn't grant this either if that was going up there. And the third one is the clientele that we're serving doesn't want that as well. If we have one person storing their collectible cars and their items of value in one, they don't want somebody next to them where he said, I have 5 construction workers coming down here drinking coffee at 5 o'clock in the morning, talking and playing the radio and putting their tools together for the day. That's absolutely not something. So I could alleviate your concerns with that.
Well, that's something that if I am leasing space and I am storing my tools or whatever in there and I need them, I will go and get them at whatever time of day that your supposed gates will be open. You clearly stated that contractors would be storing their tools and such in there. So for you to say that I cannot store whatever materials or tools I want in there, then you can't let me, as someone who's renting, I have to have access to my items. And with that, I will be going up there with my truck, whether it be a pickup truck or a box truck. I will be backing up to my bay and loading or unloading whatever tools that I have, or am I returning to them.
Yeah, and if you were to do that on a regular basis, you would be in violation of the lease, and you'd be subject to ejection, which would be our primary cause, although that's not legally sound. If someone fought it, we would then have to pursue eviction, but that would be in violation of the lease terms.
So what would be a regular basis? Once a day? Once a week?
It depends on
Once a month?
it depends on the conduct, because the conduct that you're talking about would be preclusive through the lease, which would mean, and the term of art that we've used in there is this cannot be used as a primary location, an off-site location, or a secondary location, which means that if you're going there and you're storing things like you sign off on your lease that you are, and you let us know what you're storing, and you're also insuring those goods, which will be required, you're putting in there that you're acknowledging that you will not, there will be no coming and going as a term of art, meaning that I'm dropping my stuff off here. This will not be a daily thing. I'm not going to be coming here every morning and dropping it off every night. That's not what we're looking for here. What we're looking for, and if they come in, they want to sign that, and they say, hey, listen, I have these things. I mean, anybody can lie in an application. I have clients lie all the time. I have defendants lie all the time. But if that happens, the recourse is it's a violation of the lease agreement. A violation of the lease agreement, they're signing off on, if it's a violation and it occurs after the first warning, that it will be resulting in ejectment. If they fight it, they will be allowed to go through the eviction procedures, but ultimately it's a true blue violation of the lease and they would be ejected. Not ejected, I'm sorry. If they didn't fight it, they would be ejected. If they did fight it, we would go through the eviction process and we would be granted eviction.
Sure.
No, you have more, go ahead.
No, I mean, I just don't see how we could have, say, proposed 8 to 10 or whatever, 12 stalls or whatever you want to call them, and trucks coming, however. Does everybody come at once? How can you say that you're taking inventory of what someone is going to have in there and when they want to go and get their tools, or when they want to go up and take their antique Corvette and go out on a Sunday drive? How am I allowed to get my stuff if at Tuesday afternoon. I want to go up and get my car, go for a cruise. Do I have to make plans 24 hours a day, 24 hours ahead of time? How would you say I get access to that?
Well, that's it. Well, we're talking two very different things, but to use the example of the car, if you wanted to take your car out for a cruise on a Sunday, you'd be able to get ready access to your building as long as you're within the hours. If you needed it for a special purpose, you'd be able to get special access to that. But you'd be constrained by the lease agreement. So what I think you're most worried about would be something that, one, we would have an eyesight on, because our video surveillance would be surveilling the ground. So it's not like someone could say, hey, we saw you go in at 1 o'clock in the morning, you're not allowed to do that, this is your warning. If it happens again, pursuant to the lease agreement, we'll be ejecting you. Again, if they fight that, we do have to go through the eviction process. But we have the surveillance there for two purposes, and the first purpose is security of the inside and the surrounding area. We also have it for the purpose of making sure they're upholding their terms of the lease agreement. Because ultimately, the biggest thing we want here is no problems, and we want regular customers, essentially long-term customers. We're not going to have long-term customers if we have people running shops out of there or coming and going, because that's not the nature of the clientele that we're looking for. We're looking for the clientele who want long-term rentals with this, which again will be reflected in our lease agreement. If we have and our lease agreement is going to be stating that the things that you're worried about cannot occur, and the lease duration has to be for a time that if someone came to me and said, hey, I want to rent a spot here and I want to use it to be able to get my guys down there, get all my stuff together, here's the lease agreement, what do you think? I'd say you're out of your mind if you sign this. You're going to be looking at ejectment, you're going to be looking at fees, costs, and possible damages if you inflict anything on the other individuals who abut your station. So it's really draconian in the way I've written up the lease for this, and the way I would write up the lease, which would be that, also, you have to remember, too, when we're meeting with these individuals, we get a sense as to what, anybody can put anything down on paper, but we also get a sense of, I don't want these people in my neighborhood, and for lack of a better term, this is my neighborhood. So if we have somebody there who clearly is not going to abide by this, we're just simply not going to rent to them. That's why we don't have a sea of, that's the other thing, too, which is nice about this, and now I'm getting off script. This isn't a sea of storage units that we have to have 50% of these rented out, otherwise we're not going to, be able to carry on. This is something where 1 or 2 satisfied units with long-term individuals who will then grow those units to other individuals. That's what we're looking for. If we were to put in what you're worried about, and which is what we're worried about too, which is why we want to stop it, that would defeat our business purpose for this, because we'd be able to fill those up, but it wouldn't last long at all. We would get more fines than the fines we'd be doling out. So that's the first line of defense is me, when we're assessing the individual who wants to rent to it. And then the second line of defense is our surveillance, and the third line of defense is our draconian lease policies, which, and I'm sure Dan can tell you that I have no problem doing that with the ejectment. And if they were to fight the ejectment, we would then have to go to a true blue eviction. But we would ultimately get the eviction. They would have no basis to defend against it because it would be in strict violation of the lease obligations.
I'm going to open up to the audience. Is anyone here to give testimony in this case? I have just 1 or 2. Go ahead, Sean. Access to the buildings, is this through a key or is it electronic? So they're given a code and you know who goes in, like at what time they're going in?
Yeah, because the issue with the key is, if somebody gets a code, we have them on camera, we could do that, but with a key that could be made. So what we're looking for here is, in strict compliance and in uniform with the security, is padlock access, coded access, or even if there's any type of fob access or something like that we can get that can't be duplicated by going to Abington Lock and Key. You know what I mean? Something that's, and that way it'll trigger too. The key fob has been something that we've been looking into because unlike the code, the key fob will trigger a security mechanisms on the camera that'll then put the camera's focus on that site when the fob clicks off. The key code, from what I understand, does not have the capability to trigger that same focus.
Any alarm system on this?
Yes. Yeah, we will be having a silent alarm on all units, and that's going to be shared in cost by the individuals there, and that'll be also proportionate. There's going to be a floor in the lease agreement as to the level of security or the level of insurance they have to have, but as items go up, they're going to be responsible for those items, which will mean the increase in security and/or insurance will need to be borne, at least in part, by the leasee.
When you say that the leasee can, if they need to get in there and it's emergency, something like that, there's a point of contact. Who's the point of contact on this? So if I, well, let's turn it around a little bit. Just say the individual lives across, I forget the name of that top street there, has a problem, there's something going on over there. Who would he call? The police, or is there a point of contact with your company that he can call?
Oh, no, so you're saying if he had an issue where you need to access it after hours?
Well, both ways. So let's say when your leasees has to access it after hours, who do they call? Is there a contact that they call?
Yeah, we'll
in
have
your
a
company?
24-hour hotline set up. It'll, for lack of a better term, a hotline. Someone will answer that all the time. The request will be, vetted. Why do you need to get your vehicle? Oh, it's the only vehicle I have, and we have to drive. We didn't think this was going to work. Okay, we're going to let you down, or we will, initiate your fob so you could have access for this duration. How long is it going to take you to get down there? 10 minutes. Okay, we're going to keep it live for 20 minutes. Keep them down there, keep the focus on it. That's our proposed route to be able to do that. Now, if there's an emergency, we will, and we're waiting to see how that would go. If there's an issue, we would also have individuals can call a number if they see anything, and that would be the security. So if an individual were to see, like, hey, I see somebody in there that doesn't look like they should be there, obviously call the police, but we would also, we're thinking about having a number somewhere where we'd be able to then reach out to the police immediately, let them know what it is, and when they get down there, the guy can't say, well, I own this.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
The only other thing I have, I know you're saying your hardship is this sewer line, and you're saying it would be hard for residential, but I mean, you're proposing on one side 5 large garages, 24 by 40 by 20. I mean, most houses are nowhere near that size. So why couldn't a house go there?
Well, I think the proof of that is in the pudding that nothing has been erected there since, and it's been an R8 designation for quite some time. And with that easement there, it's preclusive for and because of the geographical nature of the structure itself, not the structure, but the setup of the land. And the zoning designation of that has not facilitated the zoning with which it was required. So when this area was zoned residential, I think the answer to that is, one, there has been no building there. And one of the reasons I believe that is, and it's all speculation as to anyone can guess why it hasn't been built there, but the reason is it's zoned residential and no residential is propped up, is because of the abandoned nature of the surrounding areas. But also, if you were to put one house there, you would then have to configure the next house in a certain way, and you would have to configure the next house in a certain way. When we're looking at a true blue R8 designation, where there are structures built, very rarely, unless we're building a housing complex, do we have individuals who coordinate the building of their property. Oftentimes in vacant lots such as this, we would have, if it was a true blue R8 without a unique structure and without an easement, you would be able to set up in parcels. With this, it's not amenable to the parcel setup. That's why I believe this hasn't been, we don't have residential areas there. But that would be ultimately my argument would be, and that would be speculation, is the reason why there's nothing built there is because nothing has been built there.
Okay, could you tell me how many units we're going to be voting on tonight?
We would do a maximum of 10, which was put in there, and maybe less.
10 of what size?
Yeah, it's about the size that we have in the prospectus there.
I mean, you have multiple sizes on here. You have 12 by, I don't even know what, like, it's so small. 12 by 30, you have 24 by 40.
And, well, that's the issue. We would not build it preclusive to where it would abut or beyond the parameters set forth by, if it were to be approved in the variance. And we'd be willing to stipulate and agree with any limits that you would want to put on that. But with that, again, we're not building these to spec. What we're going to try to build is what has a look that is going to look in uniform, but not so much where it looks like a sea of storage units. And so if we go in and there's one where, we get the layout of it, we get the engineer in there, if this is approved, and the engineer says, well, yeah, we can put 10 in here, but it's going to be crowded. We're going to cut it down to 8 because we don't want that crowding look. Our clientele doesn't want the crowding look. So it may even be coming up less than what's put in the prospectus there. And again, that's a loose perspective simply because prior to approval, the influx of capital, we have to really kind of limit that because if it weren't to go our way, we don't really want to have to put in a full engineering graphing output to be able to indicate what we have if we don't know we could even build there yet.
I think we just want to put a couple stipulations before we.
I have a couple concerns.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, go ahead.
One, I agree with you that there's no reason you can't build a single-family or a two-family home on that lot, even with the easement. Alto Strata's been before this board at least 3 times to build duplexes on 40-foot lots. It's much smaller lots than we have here. 2 is the size of the units, 20 by 40, that's a 4-car garage.
It's huge. It's
So
big.
I'd be concerned with the intensity of the use, that this isn't somewhere where, like you said, somebody's not going to rent this out to put their Christmas decorations in until next year. This is going to be geared towards more heavy duty, like you said, contractors, equipment, multiple cars. And I'm concerned about access to, I don't see there's any way to control access on and off this property. There's a fence along the Fabian property line, but all these garages have cars going right to the streets. There's no circulation around them, so there's no way you could fence that off and stop people from going on that property. Like if you wanted to control the hours or something. They could do it through the locks, but that doesn't stop people from getting there.
And if I may respond, and those are adequate concerns, they really are. With that issue, then I would go back again to the speculative claim, and that would be my claim, which is you can build, and I said that at the outset of my argument, which is you can build anything anywhere, and you absolutely could build residential properties on this property. The issue is the nature of the area around it, and if you're from the area as well as I am, you know what it looks like. It's per se abandoned, vacant property. The fact, I think the biggest evidence as to why hasn't anything been built there residential is because nothing's been built there residential. That's the thing. We, of course, our company absolutely can build duplexes on there. We can build, row home. We can build anything on there. But we haven't done it, and neither has anyone else. No one's gone in and purchased the property for a single-family home and erected a single-family home there. And there's a reason for that. Especially in our area, these are sought-after places. If a residential area can be built and is sought to be built and people want to build there, they build there. The reason why this property hasn't been built on for residential purposes is because no one's want to build anything residential there, which is why what we're looking for. And again, I totally understand the issue about the 4-car garage space with the worry that this is going to be heavy-duty equipment coming in and coming out. That's going to be preclusive in the lease. This is not what we're looking to set up. And, one of the biggest reasons, and I wish we had done it, was done a graphing prospectus on how the outside of these would look, and I think that would have given you, it's costly, which is why we couldn't do it pre-approval or denial. But these look, the way we have these structures and the setup that we want to do on these are not amenable to individuals driving down their heavy equipment in and out and in and out. It's just not something. It'll, again, be preclusive in the lease. And that person wouldn't even get across the goal line. If someone came in and, you could tell right from, well, what do you want to do here? Well, I want to store, my Christmas, my Christmas decorations. And then you say, well, what kind of company do you own? Well, I own a hauling business. Well, I mean, that's we're not going to get individuals like that. And if we do, we're not going to accept them.
I think that's all fine, that you're going to rent to, you're going to really vet who's going to rent. But the thing I see too is, it's all fine and dandy to say, I am only going to rent to this person, this group. But there's one reason that the owners are in business. They are in business to make money, period. And it's all great that you can have a property, whether it be commercial or residential, and say, I am going to rent out this building, and I'm only going to rent it out to people who meet the criteria that I am putting down. However, once the lease is signed, 2 days later, you don't know what's moving in there. And for you to say that I can evict them, you know the trouble that it is to try and evict anything these days. It's not easy.
And I'm glad you brought that up as well, because, and I'm very familiar with the eviction procedures, both commercially and residentially in my practice. lease terms on this will be so that if an individual comes in with things like that and it's coming and going, it's ejectment first and foremost, because it's at the harm of the surrounding property, which if we have no rent, say if you rent in, say for argument's sake, say we had A, B, C, and you rent B and nobody rents A or C, the ejectment clause in that is not just your violation, which we're going to pick up in a second through being able to the security cameras and or just, anyone seeing it. It's also going to be the fact that you're harming the use of A and C. If no one rents those out, we're the users. Now, we don't use it, but according to the lease terms, we are the users, which would mean that imposes damages. And when you impose damage, that imposes harm. And when it imposes harm, you're allowed to assert punitive damages against it. And that's another stick that we have against these individuals, which is, one, we have the right to lock you out, which means that if you have property in there and you are totally non-compliant, and when I say non-compliant, I'm not talking about, hey, 3 months have gone by and let's check in with this guy to make sure he's not doing it. This means you were warned once, we told you not to do it. The second time it happens, that's when you get locked out. And while you're locked out, that's when we work out the ejection procedures. If you lawyer up and then go through your eviction procedure, which you're entitled to, we're already ahead of the game because the 10-day notice has been filed with them. They've received it. And they're also stipulating in their lease to the lockout. So it's not a deprivation of property. It's a bargain for contract term. And when they breach that contract term, we're not keeping the property. We're locking them out of it because their use of that property has harmed the other individuals around it. And if no one's renting out, that's us. And we're legally allowed to do that by law. See, and that's the biggest thing with this. I agree with you, and the concerns that you have, which is why I'm prepared for them, is because the nature of these and what I'm talking about, one would automatically think exactly what you're thinking.
I think we understand.
Thank you. And that's.
Yeah. I'd like to make a motion.
Second. Are we going to put the stipulations in?
No.
No stipulations?
Do we have a second?
Yep.
Yes.
Mr. Morris.
Mr. Morris.
Oh, sorry. Mr. Morris?
No.
Mr. Walsh?
No.
Mr. McDermott?
No.
Mr. Welby?
No?
Mr. Chairman?
No. By a vote of 5-0, it's been declined, and I can say my no vote came through. I'm not satisfied with the setup, some of the issues that were brought up, the accessibility throughout the night, possible noise. It is still a residential area that's there. There's houses across the street from on both sides. I just think that it's not conducive. It might be a rundown neighborhood, like you said, but it's still a neighborhood and people still live there. And I think setting this in the middle of that right there at this time won't be conducive to what the neighbors deserve there. So that's my no vote. By a vote of 5-0, you've been declined.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Tim.
Next case, 935 Clay Avenue LLC seeks variance to utilize one unit as a boarding/rooming arrangement within the existing structure at 935 Clay, R10 zone.
I do. Kevin Brown. Yes, sir. Thank you, gentlemen, for your time. My name is Kevin Brown. I am a new property owner of 935 Clay Avenue, and I bought the property about a year ago this time. And so I'm new to Scranton, new to Pennsylvania, and new to the zoning and the variance issues that take place out here. So when I bought the property initially, I had not seen the apartments empty because it's a 3-family house and they all had tenants. So when I got there and found out how much the tenants were paying, I realized that wouldn't be enough to cover my mortgage. So I immediately began to raise the rents. So one tenant moved out. He paid 1 month's rent and he moved out. So I this was a good thing because I was able to see the apartments. Beautiful. This one apartment we're talking about is a beautiful apartment. Mr. King is very familiar with it. We did several inspections when my neighbors is here. But when I went to prepare the apartment, my initial thing was, maybe I'll do Airbnb. Maybe I'll rent rooms. So I get notified that the building needs a new roof. Okay, so I go to get a new roof. They say to the roofing company, is he registered? And I say, registered for what? Nobody ever told me. Is he registered? Registered for what? So then I find out that in Lackawanna County, you need to be registered as a rental property. Okay, fine. So I apply for the rental property. My property manager, Century 21, begin to list the empty apartment that we're talking about. And then sadly, my basement apartment tenant passes away. So now I have 2 empty apartments. Century 21 is my property manager. 1 rental income, and I can't cover the mortgage. Oh, this is a nightmare. This is a bad investment. What do I do? So when I find out that about the rental registry, I begin a relationship with the city of Scranton. I'm calling them every day. Are Airbnbs allowed? No, we don't like Airbnbs. Well, can I rent rooms? Well, you have to do the zoning. Well, is my property able to zone? Well, you have to have a hearing. So what can I do? Well, you have to rent out to a family. So this one apartment in question, it's huge. It's 3 legal bedrooms, a huge sunroom, a huge living room, hardwood floors, 10-foot high ceilings. In New York, where I'm from, this is a $4,000, $5,000 a month apartment. So I get I get Century 21 to bring me families to rent. And they're talking about $1,100. And I'm like, $1,100 in New York, that's a 1-bedroom. That's not even a bedroom, that's renting a room. $1,100, I'll never be able to pay this mortgage. So while I'm trying to rent out and find a family that would pay the market rate for me, people start calling me up, hey, can I rent a room? So I'm right next to a college. Y'all know the area better than me. I'm right next to a college, so I'm talking to my realtor, maybe I'll have more success renting rooms to the college students. So that was the long and the short of what got me here today. My request for variance requires no construction. The parking spaces are already there. The backyard is huge. It's just on a hill, but right at the bottom of the hill, it's a 40-foot space where 4 cars could easily park. I took Mr. King there when we did one of our inspections. This will not change the community at all. No construction. It's just something that would allow me to get a system in place that would allow me to sustain with all of the costs that are incurred with being a property owner.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
How many rooms do you have rented out now? Individual rooms?
In this apartment, I have 2 now.
So you have 2 different tenants in the same apartment?
2 different tenants in the same.
How about the other ones?
Excuse me?
How about the other 2 units?
Well, Mr. King knows also there was an incident that happened at my property on April 7th. And one of my tenants was, how do I say it? I don't know if this is.
We know it. We know
okay,
it.
so
I wasn't getting at that
okay.
anyway. So my question is,
so the point is,
my question is, you have 2 other units.
Yes.
Do you have that broke down to individual rooms in them 2 other units? Like you said, the first unit, you have 2 separate people living in it.
Yes.
What about the other 2 units?
There's a family that came with the apartment on the 3rd floor, well, the 2nd floor, and then there are 2 cousins that live on the 1st floor. So these are not even in the equation. It was just the enormity of this one apartment. And I ran into an issue that I passionately, when I took Mr. King on the tour, I ran into an issue with squatters. I literally had to evict 7 people in the last 21 days. I had a hearing yesterday to evict someone. I didn't know how supportive this town is to squatters. So I just got caught in a trap. They see the size of my living room, and they bring 5 people to sleep in the living room. They see the size of the sunroom, and there's 5 people sleeping in the sunroom.
Because somebody's got to be letting them in. One of your
Yes.
tenants has to be letting them in.
Exactly, and
then-
those are the series of people that I just evicted.
So
But
how many, you're looking for that one unit, that you
Yes,
have
sir.
the 2 people, how many additional people are you looking to put in that unit? So you can make your mortgage?
Well, I'm interested in filling, it's 3 legal bedrooms. I'm interested in filling the 3 legal bedrooms. But with that, I can't do it without the zoning.
Right.
But just for clarity, in New York, I'm a college professor. I have no desire to go against the rules of the town. Once I know the rules of the town, I comply. So
Well, I think your realtor should have been a little more forthcoming to you.
I think so too.
You know?
I think so too.
And if you think $1,100 rent in this area is expensive, it is. So it's not New York. So I get what you're saying, though. Anybody else have?
So, Mr. King, you were in this place, so he's got 3 apartments with it wanting to be a...
3 bedrooms, sir. 3 bedrooms.
You have 3 apartments.
Okay. Thank you.
With it being a boarding house for the 1 unit, how many more parking spaces would that add to? I know we would need 3 for the 3 units, correct? If it was just apartments.
One per dwelling unit. Doesn't bring it up into boarding house.
You said it didn't change with a boarding house. Is that what we didn't hear you? I'm sorry.
There's nothing different, boarding house as opposed to dwelling. It's 1 per dwelling unit.
C. Hotels,
Or what-
motels, boarding, and tourist homes
That's 1.1 per
per
bedroom.
bedroom.
So kind of the same.
So that'd be 3 for that 1 unit.
Well, how many bedrooms in that first floor apartment?
3.
Well, first floor just says the
Oh,
2 cousins.
well, the apartment that you wish to make,
I'm talking about the one apartment. That's the first floor apartment that you toured.
yeah,
And there are 3 bedrooms in that first floor apartment. And then there's the sunroom, which is not a bedroom, but people were dwelling there. And then there's a large living room.
well, at the very least, the way I read this is you would need 3 for those boarding units plus 2 for the other two units, so you would need at least 5.
And the lot is 40 foot wide, so you definitely don't have the parking for that.
Well, the people that are living there, the people that came with the property, like the only reason those back parking lots have appeared is because I created them. No one used the backyard. Like it was just, and the second floor tenant is infirmed, but the street parking is fine, so it doesn't disturb anything. So the issue is
You're looking to change the use, though, so now you have to come
to
under...
change the use of one apartment.
Right.
Right. So based on what my research showed was for the use of the boarding space, I must provide a parking space for each adult over a certain age. You'll know the stipulation better than me, but I must provide an off-street parking space for the people living in the boarding space. The people that live on the second floor, they've lived there for 14 years. They've been educating me about the place, but they park on the street, don't really move around much. The people that live in the basement, they don't even drive. They take Uber to work and home. So that's why my request was just with this one huge apartment that's been causing me so many problems.
Structure of the house, though. Dan,
Yep. He needs 5.
he needs 5. He's changing the whole complex of the use of the building as a whole by requesting that 1 unit to be basically a boarding house. So it still come back to 5 spots.
And I think you see the issues you're having with the boarding house. These people are letting people in. It's just my opinion. I think you'd be better off leaving it as an apartment. I think you're already seeing the issues you're going to run into with trying to run a boarding house.
Well, to respond to that, one of the reasons I had these issues is because I wasn't able to control what was happening while I rented to the one family. So I was trying to evict a young man for 5 months. This young man, he moved in November. I found out a week ago, 2 weeks ago, that people aren't allowed to be evicted out here between October and April 1st. That's what I heard maybe a week and a half ago.
Not true.
If I had heard that before, I would have seen it coming when he moved in November, because he paid 1 month's rent and he stayed there December, January, February, and I'm like, what's going on? You showed me your thing, and so I give the 10-day notice, I go to the courts, I'm trying to get this guy evicted, I'm calling the police, I don't even know who these people are, you gotta get them out of here. The police come and say, well, this is a civil matter. I'm like, he has no civil possession, he's just a guy that walked in and put his bags on the table. And 2 of the guys that they had squatting there, 2 of them had multiple warrants in Scranton. If the police had just asked them their name, we could have gotten those guys off the streets and out of my...
Well, I get what you're saying, but that comes back to your property manager, not screening your tenants. But I'm going to open up to see if there's anyone else here to give testimony into this case.
I have a question on it.
Just go ahead while he's coming up.
Looking at parking is always an issue in any residence in the city of Scranton. Properties are tight. There's not a lot of off-street parking. As far as cutting up the inside of the house to make more bedrooms, that's another issue.
I have no intention of doing
My
anything.
a big issue on the property is the mess that's there on both sides of the house. Walking from front to back, all of the debris that's on the ground, the glass and the shingles, and it's really not safe to walk between the buildings. So if you're going to add more people to the building, I see you've been there a year, you haven't cleaned that up.
Okay, so I just had a new roof put on. When I bought the house, the wind could blow shingles off the building. So it took me 9 months to get the permit to put a brand new roof on. So the roof, I'm getting quotes, this roof is $90,000, the roof is $80,000. Like I said, I'm a professor from New York, I don't have that kind of money, but I finally get the new roof on. My goal wasn't to buy this place and run a boarding house. My goal wasn't to buy this place, my goal isn't to buy this place and change the restructure or anything like that. If we put a stipulation, I heard you mention stipulations, but if we put a stipulation into this thing, then I'll honor every stipulation once I know what it is. But that debris came from the raggedy roof. I think I got a brand new roof put on maybe 3 months ago.
Well, clean it up then. You're saying 3 months ago.
But here
That's
we go.
a lame answer you just gave us.
Yeah.
The reason I couldn't afford to clean it up is because none of my tenants were paying rent. So I'm drowning. So I'm here now.
I get it.
And I'm appealing to you, gentlemen. I'm prepared to relocate because one of the issues I heard was that they took advantage of me because I don't live here. Now, within my purchase, I can't make that property my address because I bought it under a 1031 exchange, something I just heard of when I bought it last year. But either way, now that I know the lay of the land, when I go to court, like I said, I went to the magistrate yesterday. They all know my name because I'm in there so much. Every stipulation you give me, I will adhere to. I've had several times with Mr. King coming through, and his team came through. Every stipulation, you gotta put the sprinklers, you gotta put the fire extinguishers, you gotta put the smoke, everything they asked me to do, I did. You have to change the locks, I changed the locks. Gotta put a new roof, I did that. I'm doing this while I have a $5,000 water bill because I have 10 squatters living in the house that I can't get out.
Got it.
So,
I got to stop you. All right?
Yes, sir.
We get what you're saying.
Okay.
We have some people that want to testify behind you, so if you could just step off to the side, there's a chair if you want to sit down.
You can, Kevin, sit there, sit there.
I do. Susan O'Hearn, SUSANO''HEARN.
You can proceed.
Okay. I'm a nervous speaker, but I'm a homeowner, and I've lived in the 900 block of Clay Avenue for 47 years. I oppose the variance because whatever rules are in place now have worked throughout the years. Seemed like property values were up and many homes on our block were sold to live-in owners. I can't believe that someone is requesting a zoning change to allow a rooming boarding house on our residential block. A month ago, we had a shooting incident at that house. So we know what kind of people that type of transient housing attracts. I feel as if this change would negatively impact our quality of life. For example, noise, safety, parking, and it would be a slippery slope leading to more of these non-traditional housing options, including Airbnb rentals, infiltrating and ruining our block. Please do your job and protect ourselves from these kind of changes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I do. John Santos, JOHN-SANTOS. Well, listening to this gentleman speak right now, he says there's a 5-room for 4 cars in the back. I moved into 1020 Ash Street, 1996. It's been over 30 years. When I moved there was a 2-car garage in a spot where he's planning to put 4 cars. I don't see that happening. He's talking about permits, 9 months. I had my roof replaced December 17th. I waited 3 weeks. First 40-degree day, crew came in and replaced my roof. The first floor tenant that he says doesn't drive, he doesn't drive. He has a car that sits where he wants to put them 4 parking spots. His car has no registration, no tag. What he does is sit out there in the middle of the night and play music. Our kitchen window is right across from where the car is. Last night, my wife went out and asked him to turn down the music. We ended up calling the police because all of a sudden my wife's a no good, well, I can't say it here, I could, but, and we ended up calling the police and they came and he probably, turned down music and went in the house. When I found out about this variance, I went around the neighborhood and collected probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 18 signatures of people opposed to this plan. Thank you.
Thank you.
I do. Lisa, L-I-S-A, Santos, S-A-N-T-O-S. I'm the other half. I'm the one the kid came after yesterday. And I don't scare easy, but I had to go in the house because he was very threatening. And when he started to approach me, I decided to go in and call the police. I've been there. 97 is when we bought the house, and we'll be there 30 years this August. And we're 1020 Ash, the corner of Ash and Costello Court, the 9 to Costello. So as you go down, when you get to the back of my house, there's my back gate. My back gate is directly across from 935, and my kitchen window is the next thing up on the house. I'm a kitchen sitter. I'm always in my kitchen, and I've stared at that house for 30 years. They have had so many different kind of people move in there and move back out again. Some were super friendly, some were more keep to themselves, but it was always good morning, hello. It was always just civility, just pleasant civility. And once he bought the house, I saw things change. And I even said to my husband, because the big room, the sunroom that he talks about, I've never been inside, but from the outside, there's 4 huge double hungs. And all of a sudden, I'm seeing, last winter, I'm seeing all this stuff going, I'm screaming. One lady was screaming at me out the window, cursing like you wouldn't believe. And loud music, awful music, nothing but profanities. And I see them grabbing each other, and I hear boom, and you hear smashing and all this going on. And I said to my husband, I wonder if it's like a theater group, like they're practicing. I don't want to call the police if it's, if it's nothing. But it was terrible. I mean, you could see the change. And in 30 years, I have never called the police on anyone in my neighborhood, never once. Last night, he was out there, and as Jack said, he puts the car down there, and he puts the radio on and turns it up. And my kitchen window's right there, so I want to open my kitchen window a little bit. Well, I can't because it's F this and this and this and this. And I have my 10-year-old granddaughter yesterday, as I had her the night of the day of the shooting. And she was in and out of my backyard. Now, the shooting happened the house right behind me. And I believe, I don't know, the second round, I'm told, went through my neighbor's garage door. 5 feet more in my direction, it would have went right through my redwood privacy fence. I got my granddaughter, my dog, he's out there working. This is something we have never seen in 30 years ago. And the transient nature of having a rooming house invites this kind of thing in. As Sue O'Hearn said, we have a beautiful, everybody knows everybody. We are 7 different, I counted 7 different ethnicities right in our immediate area. And now I eat plantains, and now I know what food from Peru is. And, we invite each other. Because we're different, we made the effort of trying to find, to try to know more about each other. And that's gone. Now, with this guy screaming at me, go in the house, go call the effing police. And once he started to walk towards me, I thought, he's part of this family of shooters. The guy that got shot somebody else, and I saw this guy, and his little boy, his little 3-year-old, is in the middle of 2 or 3-year-old, is in the middle of all this with all this language, and even with the radio. And I'm thinking, like, how could you expose this child? This is the people that are there now that weren't there for 30 years. And I just, like I said, believe because of the transient nature of this, that this is just going to invite more of this in. This is a beautiful little neighborhood. We may not be fancy, but we keep in touch. Everybody talks, everybody texts, and we look out for each other. Hey, I just saw that car go up and down the court 5 times. Did you get a plate? Okay, we get the plate number. I mean, we're proactive in protecting ourselves. I don't want this. I don't want to have to live with this. It's not fair. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question of the witness?
No. You'll have turn, once they're done, you can go back up and say what you want to say.
I do. Carol, C-A-R-O-L-E, Burns, B-U-R-N-S. So I've been living at 930 Quincy Avenue now for just under a year with my children. It was actually, it was my mother's home, now mine and my sister's. My parents had been there for close to 30 years, longer than Lisa. She's our neighbor. And I don't have prepared statements. I came to this just to hear about this, partly because I have 2 young children. I was concerned about the shooting that happened on that corner regarding that property. I think what's happening here, I'd heard Kevin speak about his issues and what's going on, and it sounds to me like he wants you to solve his poor business judgment. He bought a property that he thought the rents would cover the mortgage. They do not. And now he's scrambling to try to find a way to solve this problem. And the way he thought to do it was to try, well, maybe I could just break up this apartment, charge more per room so that I can get that total rent I want to get, which, as you pointed out, it's not anywhere near what rent in New York or Massachusetts or these other places would be. He himself said he doesn't live here. He doesn't live here. And so the care, perhaps, with kind of determining who is the type of tenant you want to rent to and the kind of background screening you're doing, I think all of that will be influenced, right, by that positioning, right? It's my understanding, based on what he had said, right, he has a mortgage he can't afford, trying to find a way to scramble to do it, and he's coming to you to say, help me out of this. What's to say he doesn't come back again later to change it again, or at some point is just trying to turn it into a rooming home, everything turns into rooms that are up for grabs, and then sells it and bugs out. Right? What is the long-term plan? You have people who have lived in this community for 20, 30 years, and this is going to impact whether or not they decide to stay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Sir, you can go back up if you want.
Thank you. Thank you. Can I address some of the things that we heard? All right, so the things they were talking about hurt me. Those people are the ones I've been evicting since for the last 5 months. The people that have not paid rent for the last 5 months. The people that elevated our water bill and our electric bill. The beautiful young lady that was standing here and the husband, she found my family's dog. She calls me. One day, the day of when they came for the inspection, when Mr. King came for the inspection, I say to the guy who's enabling the squatters, who I went to court for yesterday, because I can't get them out on my own. I say, I'm having an inspection, and I'm getting all you MFers out. He said, I'm going to go get them out now. So I saw 2 young men that I never saw before run out the front, and then she called me and said, Kevin, I saw 3 young men run out the back. I said, thank you so much for telling me. And I said to her, that's why I wanted to ask her the question in front of everybody, but I said to her, these are not my friends. These are not my family. Call the police. I can't get rid of them by myself, because every time I call the police say it's a civil matter. I was not aware. This is like a horror movie for me. When I have my neighbors come and testify against something I'm doing, I'm ready to walk out now. I don't even need you gentlemen to vote. Because if I'm not elevating my neighbors and my neighborhood, then I don't want to be here. So with that, I thank you for your time, because I wouldn't even vote for me after those testimonies, right? I'm a college professor. I bought a property because my girlfriend and my daughter live in Wilkes-Barre. They told me how wonderful Pennsylvania was. I saw the house. I fell in love with it. I said, I've got to have this. It was just that simple. I don't live there because I can't. That was a bank stipulation. I can't live there for 2 years. All I've been trying to do is ride out and make it for the 2 years, because I'm telling my family, this apartment is beautiful. I need you to move. We're going to move from New York, and we coming to Pennsylvania. We coming to Scranton. But it was never my intention to be a scourge of the neighborhood. I wish I wish she had made eye contact with me. I wish she had told the whole story, because the whole story is important. You have my phone number in your phone. You've called me 3 or 4 times, and I'm wondering why she left that part of the story out today.
That's
But
her
all
testimony. I'm going to stop you.
all that being said, I thank you, gentlemen, for your time. I thank you.
So do we have to vote on this, guys?
I would say we should vote on it.
Absolutely.
I'll second that motion.
Sorry, who made the motion? On the motion, Mr. Morris,
No.
Mr. Walsh.
No.
Mr. McDermott,
No.
Mr. Welby,
Nope.
Mr. Chairman.
No, by a vote of 5-0, after the applicant has decided to drop it, it's been declined regardless.
Thank you, folks, for coming. Thank you.
We're going to take a 5-minute break.
I'm glad you got that name. Right, it's Campolito, right?
Yeah. That the way things go tonight, the least cases we have.
We're going to be here a little while, yeah.
Now, when you're ready, we can call the next one.
Next case, Dumax LLC seeks special exception to add conversion apartment to dwelling at 1826 Pittston Avenue, end zone.
Jeremy Lopez, J-E-R-E-M-Y, L-O-P-E-Z. May I approach? I have some pictures for you.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm here for Dumax LLC, and we're asking for a special exemption to turn this unit back into a 2-unit. It's currently zoned, or it's currently set up as a 1-unit, or it's listed as a 1-unit. I gave you some pictures there that show there's 2 kitchens. It's a 2-floor unit. They were renting it to one family that was using both the upstairs and the downstairs. They were actually using the second kitchen on the second floor as a bedroom, but it has 2 separate kitchens, 2 bathrooms, and in the rear, in one of your pictures there's a garage, and it has a spot next to the garage that can be used for a second parking space. One of the pictures as well from the entranceway. If it was approved to have zoned as a 2-unit, there is a picture that shows a stairwell. That would become a common space where the top of the stairs would be the front door for the second floor unit, and one of those doors in the hallway would become the front door for the downstairs unit. I don't know if you have any questions for me, but it's pretty much there on the pictures.
Just for the board's edification, a conversion apartment, which is what this would be, you're not doing anything on the outside, is allowed as a special exception in this area. He needs the parking. He needs to comply with 6.3C, which talks about the proposed use by special exception won't adversely affect the neighborhood, et cetera. There's a bunch of things that I'm not going to read each one of them, but they're under 6.3C, which is on pages 84 and 85 of our booklet. And it sounds as though he may have the off-street parking needed.
There's a 1-car garage in the back. One of the pictures shows a 1-car garage in the back. It's sort of like a red barn color. And then there's a space to the, I guess on the picture, the space is to the left, which can be converted to a second parking space.
What's in that garage right now?
I didn't go in it. The Dumax bought this property probably 60 days ago. So it's locked up. I mean, it could be emptied out and repaired properly to make it a car garage, or knocked down and turned into a parking space.
So who is, are you an owner, or are you just representing them, or?
I'm just representing them. We are partnered on this job, on this property, but he's not here.
So you are part owner, you're saying?
Yes.
And you were never in the garage before?
We didn't check the garage. He was he kind of bought it on. It was bought like 60 days ago for a real good deal. So they were looking. It's actually listed as a 2-family, as a multi-unit. On Realtor.com, you can see multi-unit, and it says it was sold. So that's what was told. And then by the pictures, when you see the 2 kitchens, it's assumed that it was a 2-family. We were told that the person that was on the second floor was just renting both units, but they're not. It's just 1 family. They were using the kitchen as a bedroom.
So chances are it's an illegal apartment put in there at one time or another.
Possibly, yeah.
I'd say definitely. I mean, and don't go by Realtor.com when they call it out, you know?
And I was going to say, this first floor kitchen, it looks like a laundry, just don't look
Correct.
like a kitchen.
There's like half the
to me.
kitchen. There's the first floor kitchen. You have like the whole kitchen fits into one spot, but they have a spot that could have been a laundry area that they added a sink to it. So it has it could actually be, that sink can be taken out and turned into a laundry room and have the sink in the actual kitchen. The second floor has a complete kitchen, completely separate from.
Don, what's this listed as on the county?
On the county, it's listed as 2 units.
Okay.
And like Dan said, this is a special exception. So this is a use that's allowed as long as he can show he meets the criteria, which is basically the off-street parking.
Yeah.
The units are more than big enough.
So what was your plan for the parking?
There's a space, there's a garage space, and then there's a space to the left of it on your picture that fits another car there. So it'd be, there is space for 2 parking spots. If converted, it would probably be a 2-bedroom upstairs, 2-bedroom downstairs. The family that was living there was using it as a 5-bedroom, 2-bath. And out of the 5-bedroom, that kitchen, they were counting that as a bedroom. That what would be the kitchen upstairs.
That garage, are you tearing that down? Is that, it looks like it's pretty rough.
Yeah, I mean, we're willing to do whatever needed to create. I mean, the parking space next to it would need to be converted over to an actual parking space, but the space is there.
Is anyone here to give testimony in this case? So do you plan on doing any remodeling to these units, or like any work to bring them up, or?
Yeah, for the inside, it would be mostly, like I said, to turn that entranceway into a common area, and then put, re-put a front door on the upstairs, because the door, it has a door frame where a door would go. They kind of just took that out, and they were using the whole entire area as one bedroom. At one point, it looked like the basement was also turned into some, maybe 40 years ago, was some sort of an apartment. We're not looking to do anything to the basement other than normal storage and, laundry space or whatever else.
One of the contingencies I think we're going to have to put on this is that the parking in the back, whether you tear that garage down or not. Mike's on. Whether you tear that garage down or not, the grass area, if you tear it down, they both need to be paved.
Correct.
If you don't tear the garage down, we still want that grass area paved.
Okay.
And sloped. I mean, actually, it looks like a slope that's going to take out in the alley anyway. The last thing we want is people just parking on grass and creating
Right.
an eyesore.
Yeah, and it's on a hill.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be a good parking spot. It would have to be flat.
So, anybody else have any questions or anything?
I'll make a motion with the condition.
Second.
Hang on one second before it goes. And that condition needs to be met before an occupancy permit will be given. So that pavement has to be done before any tenants go into that
parking spot
building.
first. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
You have a motion and a second.
Mr. Morris?
Yes.
Mr. Walsh?
No.
Mr. McDermott?
Yes.
Mr. Welby?
Yes.
Mr. Gattens?
No. By a vote of 3-2, we have been approved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next case, Francis P. Cutter seeks variance to convert vacant building into a small apartment building, 7 units at 1729 Cedar Avenue, R11.
Yes, I do. Yes. I have something I wanted to... So I'm not here to argue a case. I'm just here to ask permission to convert this vacant commercial building in an R2 zone into an apartment building. That better? I'm asking to make the conversion for this vacant building into an apartment building. The reason being is it's a great building. It's in a great location. I've had a track record of doing this in the past. I have some photos, some other properties that I've purchased, made renovations to. It improved the property, it improved the street, And in some cases, other owners on the other side of the street did similar. They renovated and improved their properties. In fact, in one case on River Street, I have a photo I'll bring up and show you. There is a Marine. He's a retired man. He lived across the street. He came over, practically hugged me and thanked me. He said, I had so many people come through here promising this, that, and the other, and a third. And he says, you did a great job, beautiful job. And he said, I'm thankful. Here is, can I?
We could just pass it down. Mr. Cutter, you're the owner of this property?
I am, yeah. The first photo is, when I purchased it, it was condemned. And when I took it over, redid the outside, redid the inside, I improved the inside to an extent where the tenants that were there, it essentially, by design, brought in a better tier of tenant. And like I said, the neighbors and the people on the block were thankful for that. I have also.
I think, just to interrupt you, I think you meant, are you the current owner of the house you're presenting to us now?
Yes.
On Cedar Avenue.
On Cedar, yeah.
Okay.
So before you go any further, I got some questions.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Start asking here. How many square feet is each unit going to be?
They're all a little different. I believe it's in the, there will be two bedrooms and 5 one-bedrooms. And I believe the one-bedrooms are, I have it so small here, but it's about 650 to 700 square feet. And the 2 bedrooms, I believe, are in excess of 800, I believe close to 900 square feet. It's in the preliminary code review and code summary that I uploaded to the site when I made the application. There's also the building code study that was also submitted when I made the application. If you don't have I have 3 copies. If you don't have them handy, would you like to see them?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. Yeah, I didn't know.
Thank you.
And here is the generic, so not current plans, but generic plans for the zoning review of the layout.
Okay, that's the one you get.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's yeah, in a nutshell what I have to present. I don't have an argument. I don't have any problem to present. I'm asking for a green light to improve the building, improve the block, improve that area of Scranton, and make it a really cool, desirable place for people to want to live.
I'm just going to make a comment.
Go ahead.
It's in an R11 zone, which does allow apartment buildings as a permitted use in the R11. I'm not sure, I think his application is for 7 units. It looks like that's what the drawing is for, 7 units. So we're really looking at parking. Parking.
Parking, yeah.
So, yeah, so to the parking point, the photo, the original photo, the first photo that I showed, I took that right from Google Earth. So the car that's in the photo, it's to scale. I basically just copied and pasted 6 cars on either side in a herringbone pattern for 12 spots. I know I only need 7, but I just wanted to indicate that I have more than enough for what I'm proposing to do.
Could you tell me what the setup is in there now?
I'm sorry?
What's the building set up as now?
It seems like there was some different uses. It's vacant. There may have been a computer room or something in the back. There's a raised floor. Typically, that's for a computer setup or data setup. It looked like a consignment shop maybe in the front, and then there's some leftover certificates on the wall from an accounting firm. I can't say there's things in there from, it looks like clothes racks. That's why I say consignment shop. I really can't say with any degree of certainty. And the rest of it it's vacant. Looks like it's been cleared out to an extent.
So there's no apartments in there now?
There is nothing there. No apartments there.
Sure. Is there anyone else here to give testimony to this case? Please come up. You can have a seat, Mr. Cudderwood, in the chair there.
I do. Joan, Joan Boino, Boino. I'm here, owner of Kelly's Pub, which is diagonal from this property. We do have a few concerns as the traffic, the safety of the kids in the neighborhood. The school bus is there in the morning, and the garbage, who's going to be in control of the garbage? We've had our business there for 36 years, paying taxes. We employ 35 people, and it's been condemned 3 times. This must be the 3rd owner, and we haven't had any. There was a guy that did accounting on the upper floor. He passed away, and now this would be the 3rd owner, and it was the 3rd time it was condemned. So the building has a tarp on the back, and it's all exposed. It's in rough shape. And just the garbage and the parking is going to be a big concern, because they're going to be parking in our lot and crossing the street if there's, I don't know how many people are going to be in each apartment. So that's my concern.
I'm going to ask you a question that sometimes we ask. What would you like to see done with that building? If it's not developed, what would you like to see instead of sitting there like it is?
Yeah, well, I think I'd like to see it developed, but I'm just concerned about the parking and the fire exits. There's no, how are you going to get all these fire exits into this building?
Well, if it's approved, I'm not saying
Right,
it's approved.
right.
That everything like that has to be, before anybody can go in that building, that's inspected by the city and has to be brought up to code,
Right.
like a strict code. So,
Right.
that part, would be taken care of by the city
Right.
through inspections and everything.
Well, we're just concerned about the neighborhood, because we have a bar down the street that there was shootings at a couple weeks ago, that we're trying to deal with that, with the liquor. I'm just
I get it.
concerned.
Yeah.
That's it. I wish the guy well. I just want.
Could you show her your parking, you have a parking plan?
That's okay.
Maybe you want to show her one of the buildings that you've done here? You want these here? You can show her what you did.
So, by the way, great wings. I sat there a few times before we bought the place to see what kind of clientele was coming in and out, just observing, sitting on the corner there, had a Guinness beat, and just was watching. So, yeah, you're here.
Right.
And so this is what I was saying. On Google Earth, what I did, this was here. It was parked there.
Yeah.
So I just multiplied it by 12. I only need 7.
Right.
So that leaves me plenty of room for that, plus one of the units I'm going to make handicap accessible. I'm sorry, I didn't want to.
That's okay.
All right. So, like I said, I had when I did this layout, I just did from Google Earth, and the car that's there, I left it there intentionally just to show that this is what I use to scale.
Right.
And so I only need 7 spaces, but I show 12. But that'll allow for me to give a little extra space to a handicap spot. And also, I'm required by the city of Scranton to provide a dumpster anyway, which I do. Let me show you. So this house on River Street, this was condemned. and the Marine lives directly across the street, right? And so when I bought it, this all came down, and this is it, almost finished, and here it is finished.
Yeah.
And what happened by design is, to the level that I over-improved it, it pushed out the lower tier tenant, and now the tenants that are in there are excellent. I have a local property management company, Family Investment Realty. His name is Shawn Tabe from Dunmore, and he is very strict and very stringent in his review process, because I would rather have a vacant unit than have a bad unit. For you and for me, because a bad unit, a bad tenant, they can lock down for months. When you have it's vacant, I'd rather it be vacant than a bad tenant. So we go through a pretty scrupulous tenant review.
Yeah. Is it going to be like a boarding home?
No.
That's all right. That's okay.
Separate apartments, distinct apartments.
Okay. Thank you.
I do. Ann, A-N-N, Ann, A-N-N, Harrington, H-A-R-R-I-N-G-T-O-N. Basically the same as Joni. I live on behind the bar, and I just cannot believe that they're going to redo this building. I drive down that street every day and look at it. There's nothing been in that building for, I can't tell you how long, years and years. There's nothing in there. I've been in there. It used to be a consignment shop. Cece had it. It was a chicken market when I was growing up, and it was 2 times. It was a collection agency, different people, 2 different times. I just can't believe that that's coming there. Now, he says a rooming house. Is that what it's going to be? No. Okay, what, 4 apartments or something like that?
No.
Okay.
7 apartments.
7 apartments of how many rooms?
Well, there's 2 2-bedroom apartments, and there are 5 1-bedroom apartments. Apartments, not a rooming house. I don't want any part of a rooming house. I had a chance to.
Are you the landlord?
I will be. You can look and see. I can give you a list of properties that I've purchased and bought. You can talk to the neighbors. I mean, again, this is not a handsome building.
Oh, I know it.
There's nothing I can do to this building to make it any worse. So,
I know, I see the building every day.
there's nothing I can do to this building to make it any worse. I mean, one issue that I heard was trash. And again, I'm required by the city of Scranton to provide a dumpster. Anything over 4 units, right? So I do that here. Safety, I mean, I heard that respectfully. It's not safe now. The whole back wall it's
caved in.
There's a tarp there. It's not secure. If you're concerned about safety, I would say, yeah, you have nothing to lose. You really have nothing to lose here, other than look at, I don't know what it would be, but.
How many people would be in that?
7.
7 people, single.
Well, 7, maybe 9, but at least 7, because it's, again, 5 single-bedroom apartments and 2 2-bedroom apartments.
Another thing is, there's a lot of children right around that whole area. In the back where the parking lot is, there's a pile on the hill. School bus pickup is right in the front of that building, and lots of kids. At car parks and in Joni's parking lot when they're picking up the kids. I don't know what's going to be in that rooming house as far as people go.
You
Or
keep saying, stop it.
apartments.
Yes, thank you.
Apartments, I'm sorry. So there's a lot to consider there. And like he said, he's going to issue with the tractor trailers going up and down. Fire safety, that's an issue. He said he addressed that. Parking.
Excuse me, ma'am, I didn't address tractor trailers going up and down. I did not.
No, I'm writing them for my notes. I know you didn't say that. That's my notes because it's very busy there at times with the trucks, So there's a lot of concern with that building, having all these apartments. I hope you really do consider that. and the kids. Thank you.
So for clarity to everyone here, this board's only here for parking. That building is permissible in that zone, as I think Mr. Penetar stated. So the only concern we can have tonight is that parking lot, to see if it has enough spots to accommodate 7 units, and that's 7 spots. We could put contingencies on that to make sure it's paved, it looks better than it does. But when it comes to building, we have no say tonight. So I just want to make sure everybody's clear on that. Anyone else? No, we're good.
I have a question, Mr. Gattens.
Yeah, go ahead.
On that, with parking and allowing whatever the exception says, the number of apartments in there.
We have nothing to do with apartments.
We don't.
It's allowed. It's a permitted use.
No matter how many numbers, whatever the numbers are based on the square footage.
In this
of the-
zone, yes.
He has the square footage. I'm not testifying, but that's why he has the square footage.
It's on the paperwork, not on the application.
I mean, ladies, did you feel any more comfortable after viewing some of his work and what he plans to do there?
As long as it's not a rooming house.
But it's definitely not going to be a rooming house.
If you could just come up to the podium, you'll be fine. Come on down.
If someone wants to join her and speak with her,
I do. Patricia, Patricia, Laboranti, Laboranti.
So, Ms. Labaran, I know one of your concerns you just stated, and a few others have stated, is a rooming house. I think you got an example of how this board feels about rooming houses with the previous case or 2 cases ago.
Yes.
They're a hard sell in the city of Scranton, especially a hard sell with the zoning board. So he's looking for apartments.
Right.
And I'm sure, I mean, again, everything's going to have to be brought up to code where it has to be. But again, all we're here for is that parking lot. I mean, sadly, but that's just, it's allowed in that area. And there's no limit on the number of apartments as long as he meets the requirements of square footage and everything, which, I mean, he's actually exceeded them. The minimum square feet in an apartment right now is 300. It got lowered from 600. So, I mean, he's more than meeting that part there. So.
Yes, we just got notice of it on the telephone pole.
Yeah.
So that's what our concern was. We didn't know anything
And
about
justifiably
it.
so to have concerns, you know, especially
We
the
saw it on
business
the
across the street.
telephone pole, and here we are.
And just so you know, when it is condemned like it is right now, it has to be brought up to today's code. And
Yes.
It's not easy to do.
Right.
I mean, everything has to be done in that house to make it an illegal apartment building. I'm talking a lot of work.
Right, right.
And it will be, I mean, all aspects of that work will be inspected. I mean, it's not just going to be,
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome.
Thank you.
Good. I'll make a motion.
We're going to put the stipulation that the parking has to be paved.
I'd like to add a condition that that parking lot has to be paved. I'm sorry. The condition that the parking lot has to be paved and lined. And Mr. Cutter, if you could stress to your tenants that's their parking lot. Why would you want to park across the street when you have one at your door, you know?
Correct. Like the other, just these 3 examples, I only use these because these are the ones in Scranton. They're lined and they're numbered according to the tenant being second floor A, second floor B.
And if you could put your dumpster, as you stated, kind of away from any residents there, because as we all know, pickups sometimes happen at 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, so.
Yeah, there's a couple of spots I was looking at that I don't want to be out, like you're saying, out on the main area there, kind of back off the driveway. I'll find it. There's a driveway on both sides, though.
I'm sure you'll find someplace. So with the contingency that the parking lot is paved, lined, and numbered, as Mr. Cutter suggested.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Morris?
Yes.
Mr. Walsh?
I just hope you're going to do a great job and make these people happy that's been there a long time, and please do it right.
It's going to work.
Yes.
Mr. McDermott?
Yes.
Mr. Welby?
Yes, and again, this issue, repeat what they're saying is, Mr. Gattens asked in the beginning, what can we do with these old vacant buildings? It's a mess, and you hope that somebody does buy it and fixes it up. As you know, Kelly's is right across the street, we've all been there, and other neighbors' concerns. Just got to be done. But my vote is yes.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, by a vote of 5-0, you've been approved, and please follow the contingencies, and again, be a good neighbor to them. I'm sure they're going to be a good neighbor back to you. Thank you.
Next case, Shawn Bingham seeks variance to use 3 bays of existing garage for auto detailing at 1100 Price Street, R10 zone.
How you doing? Want my name? Shawn Bingham, taxpayer, business owner, City of Scranton. SCANBINGHAM. Gentlemen, tonight the property in question is 1001 Price Street. I have a 6-bay garage, and I know it's in a residential zone, but I'm legitimately 4 feet out of the commercial zone. Like my back, it goes all the way to the back of Carney Funeral Home, Vincenzo's Pizza. My driveway could go into their driveway. We're here tonight to ask the last 3 bays closest to Allen Park. We want to do a detail, like a little detail shop there. We just want to do it legitimate. We don't want to do it, just put it in there. We're just asking if we could do it, the right way. There won't be big signs, and there won't be, if there's 3 cars maximum, there's 3 bays there. They won't be outside. They'll be tucked in overnight. So there'll be nothing overnight stored on the street.
What are you going to do with the other 2 bays?
There's 3 other bays. I have a guy in there right now who rents. He's a welder, but he works out of town, and he stores like a bunch of welding equipment in there. He's a real nice guy. Brian Young is his name. He's a real nice guy. But he doesn't do nothing there. He just stores a bunch of metal, steel.
So, John, what kind of hours operation is this place going to have?
Well, I mean, that's contingent upon what we're allowed to do, but generally when you're in a detail shop, we don't want them there 10 o'clock at night. We don't want any of that. So we would put a stipulation ourselves on it. Summer hours, winter hours are different. Probably not past 8 o'clock, 8:30 at night. It would be, they like to work late. They do. I mean, they like to work late, but there's also neighbors that live across the street. There's only 2 or 3 houses there. Maybe they're here tonight, I don't know. But other than that, there's the insurance company on the corner, then there's a vacant lot, then there's a house, and then there's another vacant lot. So, I don't know, there's like 2. And we also own the house in front of us, High Park Avenue. I think that's 142, I believe, High Park Avenue. So that comes with the property as well. So.
How long has he owned it? How long has Mr. Martin owned it?
Right. We're there about a little under a year.
Where's the customers going to park?
Well, if you pull up, there's a whole spot in front of the garages. It's like you can put cars there now. That's where people park right now. They park in front of our garages. If you go over there, I have 35 no parking signs up, and none of them listen to it. So if a customer comes up, he could park right there. But along the street of Allen Park, there's like from here all the way up to Main Avenue that the insurance company uses, that Vincenzo's Pizza uses, that everybody uses. It's just a park. It's a local park. So to answer the question would be, I would assume, like, if they come into one bay, there's 2 other bays that they can park right there. That's my property, too. They can park right on the sidewalk. It's blacktop. You know. Were you out there to see it?
Yeah.
Did you go and see it? So that they could park off the street there. They'd have no problem. The one bay on the left has a full apartment up on the upper part of it. Did you see it? It's got a full apartment up there. I don't even know why this wasn't, when we bought it, we didn't even know that. We went in and we found an apartment up there. We're not using it as an apartment, but it's there. I might come in next month and ask if I can get an apartment because some more equity, some more money. Yeah.
I know you said the hours. What are the days?
Well,
didn't
I'm going to
really
say
say
7
the
days a week
He didn't
because
really say the
you just don't know when someone needs a car. There's auctions all the time. Someone needs a car for Tuesday, they're going to be there Monday. If there's a Monday auction, they're going to be doing detail cars there probably. I mean, that's kind of where we're aiming. So I'm going to say 7 days a week, but it could be 3. I just want to leave it open for the 7.
Is there anyone here to give testimony in this case?
Thank God. Thank God. I don't have it in me tonight.
My take on this, I know the area.
Yes, sir. Yep. Yep, I don't, wreck.
It becomes just like we discussed on the previous case, this is a nice building. Paint the outside garages, but if not this, then what's the proper thing we can do with this building for the neighborhood? And I went back and forth and trying to see what other uses and to put this building back online other than someone parking their cars in there. That's right. But to have something like this, I see a good possible use for a building.
I know years ago there was a guy by the name of Jack Warner. He kept all of his 1932 cars, and if you remember him, he used to drive the old Fords down the street. He used to park them in there. There was all old like parts in there when we bought it, but we're like cleaning it out as we're doing it. So
I know you said it's strictly detailing, so
Yeah.
there'll be no painting, no mechanical.
no, none of that. Nope. I mean, I don't know. They'll never be able to do it. If they do, that's not it. It's strictly a detail shop. That's all we're asking for. We're just.
So
I'm not like they're not moving out next month, and then we're going to put a bakery in there. We're not asking that. We're not asking for that.
So for clarity, this request is for the whole building,
Correct.
not just 3?
Yes.
Right, okay. So I have a couple contingencies.
Shoot.
All right. We want to limit, and it's up to the board if I speak on turn, your hours from 8 in the morning to 7 p.m. No repairs of any kind, whether it's a motorcycle, a car, mini bike, bicycle. We'll go down the whole list of any kinds that take place. This is strictly an auto detailing when it comes to paint and wax, not painting, but waxing and whatever, cleaning the interiors and stuff like that. Again, no automotive repairs. I can't stress that enough because my concern is that's what happens a lot of times at these places. And no parking in front of the bay doors. That's a sidewalk. So get out of that habit.
Well, we have signs up. I don't park there at all.
I know, but I mean, maybe this will shake your neighbors from parking there because it is a sidewalk there that's pushing people out in the street. And 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday, no Sunday operation.
Even God rest on Sunday, Mr. Gattens.
Lighting on the outside, you gonna put lighting up there?
Well, that was our next question, because every time we say we're going to put lighting up, Mr. Gattens that gets a little perturbed with the lighting. So I would say yes, like maybe over the door, like a little light, not like welcome here,
Yeah. Just make sure, Mr. Bingham, it goes down.
I got you.
We just used one up in Nayak Park, one of the buildings put on it.
got
It's
you.
nice, it goes right down.
We'll put a little headlight.
Anything else? Did I miss?
Nope.
Anything else?
I'll make a motion with the contingencies.
Second.
Mr. McDermott?
Yes.
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 Yes?
Yes, by a vote of 5-0, you've been approved.
Thank you, gentlemen.
See you next month.
See you next month. That was an easy one. All right.
Next case, Benicio Vasquez and Domingo Moran seek variance to convert ground floor from commercial to residential at 1608 North Main Avenue, Ensign.
Yes, sir. Huh? Yeah. Yes, sir. Venancio, V-E-N-A-N-C-O. He's my partner owner, my other partner owner, Domingo. He's not here because he's out of this round. And he's the architect. My English is not good, but he's my interpreter, and he's an architect making the first to the plan for the first floor that we want to change it to the commercial place to residential place with 2 apartments, the first floor with 2 bedrooms. And the second floor is all the floor is 1 apartment. 1 big apartment, the second floor, and the first floor that is commercial, we want to change it to residential.
We're going to have sworn in, and he's going to speak.
Okay. I swear. Is Edison? My first name is Edison, E-D-I-S-O-N. Last name Ferreira, F-E-R-R-E-I-R-A. R-A. Basically, what I do is I help people get the, work with the city to get the right permits. Normally, what happens with most of the people that I normally work with, they don't know the step that they had to take in order to get the building moving. In this case, what he's looking to do is to turn the first floor into 2 apartments. I don't know if you guys have a copy of the plans that were submitted before. Do you? Okay. I would pass it out.
Thank you, Edison.
And then also, I will pass this. Those pages that I gave you on 8x11 basically show the size of the property and the size of the building and the addition that we are requesting. On this building, we have a commercial unit on the first floor, but it looked like it was used as a 2 commercial way back then. What we are proposing, if you see the first floor, is to turn each side into a 2-bedroom apartment. But we had the option to have a 1-bedroom with the size that we have right now, because you guys are looking for 600 square foot for 1 apartment, but instead the owner wanted to include an additional bedroom, so that way we could get a family to rent the apartment to a family instead of like a single person. That would be, if you see the size of the apartment on the first floor, the one on the left will be 900 square feet, 909, and the one on the right will be 907. That is, if you see on the page, on the 11.5 page that I gave you, that is because we are going to be putting an addition of 12'8" by 39 and 10 inches on the back of the property. And
Did you have a parking diagram on?
yeah, we have the parking diagram on the big plan on the left side. On the left side, you can see that's the whole lot, what we have right now. We're going to be including four cars on the back of the property. I know you guys require 1 for each unit, but we provided an additional 1. And on the right side of the property, right now, it has an existing driveway that is already there.
That's on the left side when you're coming.
No, it has 1 on the right side. The one on the left side is belong to the property next door.
Okay.
But on the right side of the property, we have a driveway that is already, it has a drop curve on the front of the building. And the size of that is 9 feet, like you can see on the left side of the site plan. What we are also, we are looking to renovate the second floor and turn that into a 4-bedroom apartment, but the second floor is already an apartment. We're just gonna be doing some modification. Since we're gonna be putting an addition in the back, we're gonna build a deck to go over the addition, so they have a second way out also from the second floor. The apartment on the bottom floor, they both have a second way out facing the parking lot, and 2 ways in on the first floor. The basement will be used as a common area.
Just a quick question. I wasn't able to get in behind your building because there was a lot of construction going on, but is that the only way in and out? Is that drive? Is there an alley or anything behind this property?
No, there's not an alley. It has like a 10-foot drop. It has a retaining wall in the back. There's on the back of the property is a car wash there. But we could modify it. I spoke with the tenants. Sometimes the tenants on the left side, we could modify the backyard, the part where we're going to put the parking, so maybe we could get 2 ways in also for the cars if the neighbors allow, but at least we have a way in on the right side of the property.
So how do they get to here? Is there an entrance?
He's saying over here on the right side.
So they go all the way around there?
You went down the driveway? You went down this? You drove down it? It was good?
Because this is a change of use, I think that driveway, because the main avenue is a state highway there, they would be required to get a highway occupancy permit.
Yeah.
So PennDOT would have to review the access in and out of that.
Now, is it 60 feet on each side?
I'm sorry?
Is it 60 feet on each side of a driveway coming onto a state road?
It depends on if it's a right turn only, it wouldn't be, they would only have to have a clear sight in one direction. I'm not exactly sure how they would work that because it's so close to the traffic signal.
That's what I was thinking.
Is there a specific width that a driveway has to be? Based on
13.
what's there, there's the concrete abutment where the post for the fence is in to the building is 8 feet 4 inches. Does it have to be?
I don't believe we have a minimum driveway size.
What I decided when they put the plans together was that at least on the back of the property, we have enough space for the car to turn around and be able to, they have to come in one at a time.
Yeah.
But when it comes to that, it looks to me that before, way back then, it was approved for a driveway because even the curb, it has a drop curb over there. It's not being used because the property has been vacant for a long time, but you could see the shape that it was approved for a driveway before.
Yeah, sure, it's obviously has been a driveway, sure.
So I don't see
It's tight, but, so if you hit the fence, you scratch your car.
I believe what Mr. King is saying, now we're changing the use of the building, that you're going to need a highway occupancy. Yes. I mean, that's going to be something that's going to take some time, right, Mr. King? That's not something that you get very easily.
Depending on, I would imagine this would be considered a low-volume driveway. I think you could do those pretty much online.
Okay.
But I normally tell people if you have to deal with PennDOT, deal with them first. They do sometimes take a while.
Okay.
So are we able to approve this pending approval from PennDOT?
Yeah, I would make that a condition. If it's required by PennDOT. I mean, there's an existing driveway there, but usually on a change of use, they require a new permit.
Is there anyone here to give testimony in this case? Nope.
I'll make a motion.
With that contingency of,
PennDOT approval for the driveway.
so before you start any work on that house, I would work on this driveway issue.
I got it. We understand.
And
And
also,
also, I want you to know that I advise the owner that for the construction, he's gonna have to hire a professional, like an architect, to make sure that he bring the building up to code.
Well, I mean,
because-
that's going to be
Yeah.
a guarantee to get permits, you know?
Gotcha.
I'd also like the contingencies, while the back lot is concrete, it's all broken up concrete, that be blacktop also, where the parking area would be.
So, Dan, we have two. We have the permit acceptance from PennDOT to have a driveway there, and then paving of the parking lot in the rear.
Got it.
I'll make a motion with those two contingencies.
I'll second.
Mr. Morris?
Yes.
Mr. Walsh?
Yes.
Mr. McDermott?
Yes.
Mr. Welby?
Yes?
Mr. Gattens?
Yes, by a vote of 5-0, you've been approved.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Good luck.
Henry Hidalgo Construction LLC seeks variance to change single-family home to two-family home at 1715 Penn Avenue, R10 zone.
I'm his wife. I'm going to talk because he said yes. I do.
I do.
My name is Zamari, Z as in zebra, A, M as in Mary, A-R-I-E. A-R-I-E. And my last name is N as in Nancy, A, V as in Victor, A-R-R-O. V-A-R-R-O. Henry Hidalgo. Okay. I can start? Okay. Good evening. We are the owners of the 1715 Penn Avenue. Really quick, because I know we are ready to go. We moved from New Jersey almost 5 years ago. We bought a house in Harrison Avenue, and then we bought the 1715 as an investment. We bought it for a wholesaler who told us that we can convert the house as a two-family house. When we went in, we ended up buying the house destroyed inside. We had 2 cats, 2 dogs, 2 bunnies included in the package. We have to call the city to be able to come and get the animals, and so we fixed the house, and we had a hard time. We didn't have the chance to turn it into a two-family. And unfortunately, we had to rent it to a big family. So they were 11 people living there. It was a mother and a father with 8 kids. The house is like 8 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, big backyard. We have a garage in the back. We have a shared driveway that we don't use. We never really use it. And well, we learned our lesson. The tenants were horrible. We ended up having 3 months no rent. We were fighting for them to go for the last 6 months. They left the house completely destroyed, and that's why we are here to try to switch the house as a two-family house to put our daughter, who's 24 years old, with a baby in the first floor. That is a 2-bedroom apartment with bathroom and kitchen, and then rent the second floor to another tenant. That way we will have the control of the tenants, because I think we lost control having so many people there and not be able to go all the time. Like, for example, in the lease, we stated that they have to clean the snow, they have to take out the garbage. They didn't. We have to hire a company to clean the garbage. it was definitely a nightmare. So that's why we're here, to see if you guys allow us to convert this house into a two-family house. And like I said, put my daughter, our daughter, in the first floor, living there, and then just rent to a tenant, a small family, because it's going to be a 4-bedroom apartment on the second floor. And then she will have control over the property.
Where do your tenants park?
They park in front of the house. We really never bother to use the shared driveway to be able to go to the back, and there's a garage, so it can use to be parked there, but we never really use it.
So to convert this, you do have to provide off-street parking for your tenants.
Well, that way, then we're gonna have to talk to our neighbor and see if they can let us go through our garage. I don't think that will be a problem.
Because we can't call out on-street parking. You have to provide off-street parking.
Okay.
Any other questions?
But we do have the space in the back, and we have the shared driveway. We didn't think it was necessary because the tenants have 2 cars only, and they were able to park in the front.
Yeah. Any questions here?
The second and third floor, if you plan to put an apartment up there, where is their exit?
They have an exit through the back, so they have front and back exit.
From the second floor?
Yes, actually, it was a two-family years and years ago. Then the buyer, prior, he changed it into one family and then rented as student renting, because his daughter was going to Marywood University. And then he rented to this family that they were evicted, and that's when we bought it. And we bought it as a 1-family, thinking that we could be converting this property into a 2-family. But it has like exit in the front, exit in the back. They have the kitchen connection in the second floor too. They have 2 electric panels in the basement. They have the 2 electric in the back and the outside. They have the gas. They had everything. The only thing that it was converted to a 1-family, so they removed it.
Anyone here to give testimony in this case? Please come up. You can have a seat in the chairs while you're waiting.
I do. Francis, F-R-A-N-C-I-S, Rainey, R-A-I-N-E-Y. Okay, I'm a resident at 1710 Penn Avenue. I'm the owner. Me and my wife have lived there for 40 years. The house across the street has been a single home for probably 5 or 6 years, so I don't believe it meets the requirements, that because of such physical circumstances or conditions, there's no possibility that property can be developed in strict conformity. We're all single-family homes. Their lot is 30 feet, similar to mine. You're not going to be able to fit two cars in front of that property. I don't believe they're going to be able to develop that backyard to do paving. That's just not going to work. And I don't believe there is a second floor egress in the back of the building. There doesn't appear to be any egress from the second floor. There is an egress from the first floor, but I don't believe there is one in the second floor. And the main issue, and I think all of these people here are from the 1700 block of Penn, is parking. We have an apartment on the corner of Delaware, 2 apartments. All right, and on Delaware Avenue, that adjacent to our block, there's no parking. The one owner has an apartment building in the back. Those people have to park on our block, and they cut up through a driveway next to my house. So there's going to be additional cars here. It's just going to prove additional hardship to us. I mean, especially when it comes, if you come on that block after a snowstorm, we're all cleaning our spots out, except for the people that are renting, all right? They're just going to take our spots. You know, it's just a big issue is parking. That's the long and short of it, so I thank you.
Thank you.
I do. Judy, Judy, Sarah, Cerra. Okay, I'm going to make this short and sweet because everybody's getting tired now. We've lived there about 8 years. The parking is definitely an issue. It's Penn Avenue and it ends on Sunset, so we're dependent on that. I question the shared driveway. That would be up to Mr. McCormick to confirm or deny that. My biggest concern is, no offense, I don't know you, but the character and the vetting of this landlord. They have had these renters here since March of 2024. And if I may approach, these are incident reports from the police over 25 in the last 2 years.
I don't think we can take that.
Right now.
Yep.
Yeah. From the city. I have quite a few. I want to make sure that Attorney Penetar
Thank you.
does it. I understand it's very hard to control tenants. I'm in the business, I'm a realtor. But after a few months or so of this problematic family, they continued to rent to these people, causing chaos on our street, discomfort to our families, and discomfort to our well-being as homeowners on the street. I feel it would not be in our best interest to continue this two-family. Thank you.
I do. James, James, McCormick, McCormick. I live right next, I'm in 1717 Penn Avenue. And it is an easeway, but the easeway, you know, I've been there 47 years, and it's an easeway that the garage in the back has never been used as a car garage. There's been storage there, but from the time I've been living there, there was never a car in that garage. Now, if you went back there and looked at that garage doesn't even have a garage door. It has a door, but not a garage door, so you wouldn't be putting a car in there. Now, I've had control of the driveway. I've taken care of the driveway. You know, if there were any repairs or anything, it seemed like, you know, that eminent domain or whatever it is, you know, you have the, you know, it seemed that, you know, I was always, and they were very kind too. They never, you know, parked in the driveway. If they did, they had their truck and then they moved out and there was no issue. But there's no outside exit unless it's through the home. You know, I don't know if you need one to come from the, you know, you have to escape, it would be from the inside. There's nothing outside to come down and out. But as everybody said, the issue was, you know, now the way they're describing it now, they want to, you know, put their daughter in there, and, you know, that's all well and fine, but the personnel that were in there, you know, they had to be called several times to have, you know, garbage, and she even said it, you know. They presented their own, you know, issue that they had their problems with their tenant, but that's all. I just wanted you to know that I'm right next door to them, and
thank you, Mr. McCormick.
Thank you.
I do.
I do.
Katie, Katie, last name Ingles, Engles.
I'm going to make this very short. Chairman Gattens, I believe it was you who said earlier that you have to screen your tenants, and these people have not screened their tenants. I could tell you about one incident where I was in my driveway, where there's only one way in and one way out of my driveway.
I'm with my small child who can't even walk yet, and the tenants in this apartment approached me, closed me in, and asked me to give them a ride somewhere. I thought they were all minors, so I just played it off, I let it go. I said, not tonight, I have to get the baby to sleep. However, a couple months later, I realized these are not minor children that were in the home. These were adults, because they appeared before me in my professional capacity at a capias hearing to be released from prison on home confinement. Now, I'm not the one who makes the decision, the judge does, but I still have to prepare the judge to make those decisions, tell her about the law, tell her about maybe the PSI, the pre-sentence investigation, to see if these people should be released. So then when I go home at night, I have to face these neighbors if she's on house arrest. So I think that's very important that the neighbors need to be screening their tenants. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else?
I do. James, James, Dougherty, Dougherty. Thank you for your time. Obviously a long night. Just can't say that word. Going along with what everybody else was saying, I've lived on this block since 2015. Nice neighborhood, quiet neighborhood, lots of families, young kids. For the last 2 years, because of tenants, we've basically been prevented from having our kids roam around the streets freely. And that's a shame. For the city that we live in, the city that we want to see grow, we're being held back. And you've mentioned here all night, for most cases, this is pretty much about money, I would assume, an increase in the dollar. And while we can't control who buys property, I hope we can try to prevent them worsening our communities, and I feel like we have an opportunity here. Trying to keep tax base, trying to keep kids in our schools, and this is driving it out, and that's the truth. And you guys seem to hear that probably all the time. So thanks for your time. Hope you consider it.
Thank you, sir.
I do. Margy, M-A-R-G-Y, Rainey, R-A-I-N-E-Y. M-A-R-G-Y. Like my husband Frank said, we've been there for 40 years. The house has had problems the entire 40 years because it finally became a single-family home, but someone who didn't live there rented it to someone. We were hoping when it became a single-family home, someone would buy it and fix it over, because our neighborhood is beautiful, but unfortunately, to my left is a 4-apartment. It's a beautiful home converted to 4 apartments. Behind us, 2 apartments. This home is directly across the street from our home, and then the house next to them, duplex as well. The difference between the other houses with tenants, the neighbors that own the 4-building apartment and the neighbors behind me also live there. So they are very careful who they rent to. They ask them to follow the rules, and when someone doesn't follow them, they're gone. But they don't live here. I don't know about their daughter. I know you could say you're going to pull in and out of that driveway, but it's a pain in the neck when you share a driveway. We are the only family that has no driveway. There's 3 of us, 3 houses. We have no driveway whatsoever. We have 30 feet in front of our house to park our cars. Our neighbor, the next 2 neighbors are the same. And we're surrounded by everyone else, and they don't honor your parking spot. They take your parking spot. We'll clean it out. I'll come home, and it's gone. So, I mean, it's a beautiful neighborhood, but it's been changing. And it's because people come out of town. That doctor was from New Jersey. He bought the house for his college, his daughter and her friends to have a college apartment. It was a nightmare. He sold it to them without an inspection. It's never been up to code that we know of. The last time they did some repair work, they shingled over an old roof. That's not, it's an eyesore. So I don't know what they're gonna do to make it better, but someone has to really care about that property because it's never been taken care of. In the 40 years that we're there, there was one person there that decided it. So, thank you.
Sure. I do. Dennis, Dennis, Engels, Engles. Hi, thank you for hearing us out tonight. You heard about the parking. You heard about some of the issues about the dwelling itself. My wife and I are only here 6 years, not over 40 like some of our community. I'm a principal in the Scranton School District, so I'm here to focus on our children. I have a 3-year-old and a 5-month-old, and one of the reasons we came to this neighborhood was because we thought it was a great neighborhood for our kids. In the past 2 years, and admittedly so, it has not been. It's a constant safety concern. The tenants that were in there, I would not let my children out of the house with the tenants that were in there. They had late hours, a lot of foul language, a lot of domestic issues, and there weren't only 2 cars there. There were multiple cars. One young adult with an ankle bracelet had a muscle car that he was flying up and down the street one day while I was out there. It just wasn't safe, and I'm concerned about safety. I wish these people well. I really do. And if they were to turn this into a dwelling that would have 2 families, I would certainly hope that if you guys did approve it, that they would do a better job of who they're bringing to that home, because I want to raise my children there safely. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I do. Laura Augustini, Laura Agostini. I'm here as president of the Green Ridge Neighborhood Association, and as you guys well know, a variance, you have to show some hardship, and I don't believe that they've shown any hardship. It's already a one-family home, and there's no reason why it can't stay a one-family home. I'm also concerned about the parking issue. I did drive by, and it doesn't look like they can put any cars in the back. At least, my understanding is they need at least 1, possibly 2 parking spots off-street, and this property just doesn't have it. So we object to the variance being issued, and I ask that you deny it.
Thank you.
Did you want to?
I never met my neighbors before, maybe a few of them. Well, I'm going to start by saying that that's what we're trying to do here. We lost control because the house is an 8-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment unit. And if we keep it as a 1-family, it's going to be the same problem. We're going to have to rent it to a big family. The big family is going to have more than 1 adult or 2 adults, and the parking lot is going to be the same problem, and that's what we're trying to do. Most of them, they don't have a driveway, they don't have anywhere to park their car. They park their car in the front, and we do have space for 2 cars in the front of our property. We do.
I'm going to stop your testimony
Yes.
right there. For what you're applying for, like I said before, you have to provide off-street parking.
Yes.
So granted, you have in front, just like
Yes.
everyone else does, but this case requires the off-street parking.
When we bought the house to do the refinancing as a DSCR loan, we have to pay a survey. So in the survey says that actually our shared driveway, part of our neighbor's garage is in our part of the thing. So
Well, that,
we
that,
don't-
I gotta stop it. That has nothing to do with this case.
Yes,
That's
but
something
we
different.
can have the shared driveway, and we can park the cars in the back of the house. Because we have a door, a garage door in that driveway, in that garage. We switch it because the place was not used as a garage. So we changed it, but we changed it. It was a garage door before. It had a garage door. The door was broken, so we switched it and we decided, you know what, we're not using this as a garage. Just put like an extra place for storage. That's where all the animals were when we bought the house. For the exit of the house, I'm trying to answer all these concerns about first of all, sorry, we were trying to fight these tenants for 6 months. We want them out. We also called the police to try to get them out, and they left with 3 months. They owed us 3 months, and we didn't care about the money. We said, just get out. They left the house destroyed. There's clothes everywhere, broken windows, broken doors, broken walls. It's destroyed completely. But if you've never been in the house, you just can say, I believe there's not an exit. I believe there's an exit through the back. Not outside, but when you walk in the behind where the kitchen was before, they have an exit to get out from the building. And then you go out for the driveway. So the house was a two-family house. So when we moved there to do the DSCR and be able to rent it, we got it inspected. We followed the inspection. We changed the smoke detectors. We did everything that the city told us to do. So it was inspected. We bought it with no inspections because he's a contractor. He knows what he's doing. And it's easier to get the house with no inspection. But when you want to rent it, you have to go through a protocol. And then, yes, also, when these people moved, we screened them. My daughter is a real estate agent, and she was the one who screened them. So to be able for them to move there, they were screened. So my daughter is 24 years old. She works with Century 21, and she's been a realtor for 3 years. So she's not just a young girl. And we didn't buy the house because we want money or we want to rent it for money. I work for the Chamber of Commerce. He has a construction company, and I own another business. So money is not the problem. We want to just buy properties because that's what we want to do, not because we want to rent a house just because we need the money.
Thank you.
Well, I just want to say now you want 2 units. So just playing out 2 units, you're allowed to have 4 unrelated people in each unit. So you could have 8 people, 8 vehicles.
We want to have our daughter.
On that block, and that's not helping the block. We just heard a lot of parking problems.
Yeah, we have a parking problem. We all have a parking problem, but nobody is wrong finding a parking in front of their houses. All of them have their homes. Their homes don't have a parking. They have to park in the street. We can park 2 cars in the street, and then we can use our shared driveway and fix the back and put paveway, put something to make it a garage if it's necessary.
We can put a door.
We can put a door in the garage if that's necessary. But I think we will have more control over the people that move in the second floor. If we keep it as one family, we're going to have to rent it to a big family, and it's going to have the same thing is going to happen. 20 people are going to move in the house, and then we're going to have the same problem.
I think, if I'm hearing your neighbors correctly, I mean, granted, the parking is a problem, like it is in every neighborhood, Greenridge, Southside, wherever. I think this has your neighbors more concerned.
Yes.
The number of police calls, and that you own. You own that.
I know, yeah.
You know?
And
So
as
what-
soon as I noticed that this was happening, because nobody got in touch with me. I think it was one only that had a problem with garbage. And we noticed that the garbage wasn't gonna taken out because he called us. Nobody called us. I used to go every month to get them rent. I saw them. Nobody came to me and said, listen, you have a problem. And I knew I had a problem. We had many arguments. I told her that she needed to move. I told her that I called the police on them twice.
Okay. I think, and I'm just saying, I know parking's a big issue, like I said, and I think this is too. I don't know what you can do to assure them that it won't happen again. I mean, I don't think it's going to happen. So unless there's any more testimony, are we ready?
Yep, I'll make a motion.
I want to say, when I was out checking out the property, walking around and the condition, it's been a long night, the condition inside and out, I saw Mr. McCormick at the back end of his driveway, approached him, and we talked about what has been going on in the many years he's been there and the recent past, discussed the driveway at length, standing in the rain. And with dealing with the parking is always going to be a problem everywhere. And just getting Mr. McCormick's input is something that we do. And
we can fix it. If the parking is a problem and we're going to use a shared driveway and be able to fix the backyard and the garage, we can do it. If that's the only problem. But tenants, like I said, if it's a one-family house, we're gonna have to rent it to a big family. If it's a two-family, I will put my daughter in the first floor, then I can rent the four-bedroom apartment. In 4 bedrooms, you can put 11 people. There were more than 11 people in that house before.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Morris?
No.
Mr. Walsh?
No.
Mr. McDermott?
No.
Mr. Welby?
No.
Mr. Chairman?
No. By a vote of 5-0, you've been declined.
One more, wait, one more, you have to call that last.
Yeah, we got to call the last one.
Do we have anybody here for 611, 613 Harrison?
Nope.
Continue that.
Meeting adjourned.